so tired of playing this good and that road. Now I keep my heart open, leave it to the outside girls.
Well worth the wait.
I'm going to tell you a story about a man. His name was Bond. James Bond.
And we're off. So there we go. So that was 4 years ago. 3 years ago.
Well, the first time we saw the trailer was technically about 5 years ago now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
End of 2021.
Oh, crazy. So yes, this is No Time to Die. As it's is it it gives away the ending.
Yeah. But then again, how many Bond films have die in them somewhere?
Well, he just say die another day, so he did
or
come
live
true.
or something like that. The 2 stages of mortality.
It is fun. Welcome, Stephen. And you're back with another Bond film.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start this one because it's 2 hours 45 minutes. So if I now, depending on where you are in the world, it's depending on what logo you get. So I think this is the UK release, which is a Universal logo.
Yeah, you guys get the cool one.
Or is it MGM? I can never.
No, you guys get the Universal with the gun barrel.
Right. Ah, there we go. Let's see who's here. Well, there's many logos turn up. More like, no, time to die. Am I right? There you go. Spoilers. Yes, too soon. I turn the blue. Yeah. Evening, everyone. Lorenzo, one of my least favorite James Bond movie, No Time to Die. I still hate the ending. I do love the adventure sequence. This movie is down. There you go. Mr. Gen Z, a year and a half. Then we got to see it. I saw it twice. There you go. Greetings to Andy. I only seen this once. Thinks that's enough for me. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Doesn't feel like a bank holiday, probably because it's grey and wet outside. Well, yes, this is a public holiday in Britain. Yeah.
No, for me, it's nice and sunny and 75 degrees Fahrenheit.
Well, see, it's 50-50. We have public holidays. 2 in May, 1 in August. And at least 2 of those, it'll be wet and rainy. So, yes, here we go. So, you do see the teddy on the bed that her daughter has later.
Yeah.
There's one thing someone pointed out to me, but you'll be able to point out the rest. So, yeah, I thought I had this already on that, but so yeah, because it's a picture of him in a suit. So yeah,
the most original cover of them all.
Yeah, because I got 2 copies of Skyfall. I think that's what confused me because it's what is it?
No, as much as I like to defend some of Craig's movies, poster art was not its strong suit.
No, I was looking at Octopussy earlier, and I thought, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of bland ones from beforehand. I thought Never Say Never Again had some pretty bland ones. There's a couple of Roger films, but like, you compare any No Time to Die poster to something like Moonraker's big poster. I mean, it's night and day.
Yeah. It's. So we get a very extended opening of a very long film. What is your theory on this one? Do you enjoy it? Or do you think,
no, I enjoy No Time to Die quite a bit more than some people. I think I've only ever met one person that puts it in their top 3. But to me, I do have my issues with the ending. I have my issues with Safin and a couple of other things here and there. But like, I've seen plenty of films that have lackluster third endings, third acts, and some of which threaten to spoil the whole thing. I enjoyed this for about 2.5 hours. I'm not going to let the last 15 minutes screw it up for me.
Yes. Well, I will admit, when I saw this in cinema, I was disappointed. It was. Then I saw it again when it came out to streaming, and I watched it again, and I skipped bits. I will admit that. But then when I watched it Saturday night, I quite enjoyed it all the way through. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah. No, I do understand where people are coming from that like really hate this one, but at the same time, I'm just not that kind of person. I enjoy 3 of the 5 Craig films. Quantum of Solace, I'm very iffy on. Depends on the day. Spectre is so dull to me.
Yes, I have put that last. This has come up to 3rd over Quantum now since my last watch. But yeah, definitely Spectre is. Because
Spectre is my least favorite of his.
In this is 10 times better than Spectre's.
No, I do think this is quite bold to start the film with essentially 2 different sequences that could have served as the opening. But I also understand that like if you cut it after this and then do the whole thing and then have a 5-year break afterwards, that would be very jarring.
Yes.
So I think they rightly put it all together as a big, what is it, 21, 22 minutes or so? I forget.
Yeah,
it's a long time.
We're already 4 minutes in. And...
Yeah, no, the whole sequence is the longest pre-credit sequence by at least 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The only 2 that come under it are World Is Not Enough and Die Another Day.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
So now, is she trained in using a gun? Do you think she knows what the gun is, but she's pretty accurate and
I think
safety's off and ready to go?
I think at this point she may have figured a couple of things out, but I think there's probably some in-between training she did with her dad, especially after this, to get her to the point where she knows a gun, because it looks like she's firing just haphazardly.
She's doing the Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I have no idea why he's still alive after that.
Yeah, it doesn't say he's wearing a bulletproof vest.
I mean, he very well could be, but
he's
like
not bleeding apart from where a bulletproof vest wouldn't cover him.
Yeah, I mean, he's bleeding just the trail of snow that you'll see in a second.
So is it because he's got to know and his heart's on the other side, even though he's been shot in the chest 8 times, just because it missed his heart doesn't mean he's not going to.
I do have to say, I was not that I was hoping the theory to be accurate, but I was pretty convinced this was going to be a reinterpretation of Fleming's Dr. No. And while I'm not terribly happy with what we got, I do think it. I don't know how I feel about him being a reinterpretation.
Yes, it is,
especially with how they did Blofeld, which I was not a big fan of that.
No, yeah, Blofeld is even in this. He's not scary.
I like him much better in this, but he only gets a few minutes, and I completely understand fans' frustrations that he dies off screen. I mean, that is kind of unfair.
But it is Rami Malek is in the suit all the way through this. I don't know, apart from the fall, obviously, I'm guessing. But yeah, he turned up and put the mask on and everything.
No, I was surprised to learn
they thought, fuck it,
I was
put a
convinced
stuntman
he was
in
going to be a stunt guy for most of it.
And so he's on a revenge mission himself because his family got killed by Mr. White, who's no one expected to see him all the way through these films.
I was surprised we got him in Spectre.
So yeah, here we go. What's he gonna do? He does shoot at her, so he's very close with his bullets. He could go a lot further.
He's my second biggest problem of this movie. And I've seen video essays like trying to explain his plan to me. I'm glad it makes sense to you guys. It does not to me.
Okay. Yeah, what is his plan?
But here's the thing, like there are definitely different strands, different goals that he has in mind, but I have no idea if they are all supposed to be part of the same plan, because sometimes the strands seem to contradict each other. And I don't even think most of the people involved in this movie knew what exactly Safin's plan was. My theory is, every movie has reshoots. Where new plot lines get added and things like that. And I think some of the reshoot material is some of the extra stuff that conflicts with here, but I have nothing to support that theory on. They're pretty tight-lipped.
Yes, because do you think they started off with a disease and changed it to nanobots or a virus?
I believe they did, but it got changed. It would have had to have been changed before COVID, so I don't think that was part of it. Because we got an article, March or April or so, that said like this film was locked. You know, right as COVID was happening, this film was locked in the edit. Nothing was going to change. I don't think they would have had time in between December and March to have reshot some things, edit it, put it all in the film. Not the way these post-productions happen.
No. So he's got the rebuilt Aston from Skyfall. I'm guessing.
Yes.
And I guess it's a personal car, yet taxpayer money goes to restore it and make it a spy thing, even though he's not a spy anymore. He's got the car and everything. Gadgets. And what money is he spending to go on all these holidays and everything?
I assume he has some stuff sent up. Yeah, because they say in Casino Royale that this Bond doesn't come from money. So it's not like he has a vast family fortune sitting on top of things.
I still don't buy his romance or love affair with her. I know she's got more to do in this one.
Yeah, they come close to convince me on this one, but the first one, there's so much material I think that's missing there in order to make me believe that, especially going from Get Away From Me to I Love You within an hour's film time, and they only really have like 1 or 2 moments where they sit and actually talk to each other, because Madeline is very standoffish and does not talk about her feelings any more than Bond does. And I'm like, oh great, 2 people that don't talk about their feelings. This is a great relationship.
And I was just the only woman he's knocked up in 60 years.
Gosh. I make the joke with everybody else that after the ball bashing in Casino, I'm surprised he can father kids.
Oh yeah, still feel that one. But yeah, he still doesn't trust her, obviously, after giving up his life for her. Because I believe the Vesper story, because she's happy, she smiles, she's got banter with him, and she's very attractive. He doesn't really have a back and forth with this one, not to fall in love with.
No, it's a different kind of chemistry, and I suppose it could work, but you'd have to make the first part of it believable, which is all on Spectre, and they didn't.
Yeah.
But I actually buy him turning on her a little bit coming up here with Vesper's Grave and all of that.
Yeah. There's all evidence. What did she write in that note? Is it? I missed it.
The Masked Man.
That's it.
Or something like that.
Yeah. I couldn't read it. I don't know if it was in French or something.
It is. But of the languages I speak, French is not one of them.
Do you speak Welsh?
I do not speak Welsh. The only other language I speak is Portuguese.
There you go.
No, I lived in Brazil for a couple of years, so I had to learn how to do that.
Let's get to some of these comments from here. Says Sean didn't actually mind this film. It's better than expected and Quantum, but I agree the bad guy's wasted. It should have been Dosh. No, yeah, because he doesn't turn up again for at least over an hour into the film now.
Yeah.
So yeah, how many Aston Martins are in this film? As in types?
I think 4.
I think it's 4, yeah.
Because you got the DB5, you've got the Vantage that he'll drive in a bit. You have one sitting in the back of Q's workshop that nobody drives. And then I think Nomi, when she comes to pick him up in Norway, is also driving an Aston. So I think that's 4.
Yeah. I don't know why the Living Day, even though the Living Daylights is my favorite Aston, I don't know why it's in here.
You know, I have a theory that Cary Joji Fukunaga is much more of a fan of Dalton than anything, because we also get Robert Brown's picture later. And there's a couple of connections here with Living Daylights, but I don't know if they were really going with the Majesties thing. I kind of think it probably should have been that Aston towards the end, but oh well.
Yeah, and then I think that someone said they changed the picture of Vesper here because in the original trailer it's a different one, and it's this, is it this one is the same picture that's in Spectre hanging up? So
no, the original one was the one from Spectre, which is like a promo photo or something like that. This one, it's weird because I know Casino Royale very, very well. The shot they have is when she and Bond are outside and Mendel comes to them with the case of money to transfer all of that, and they have the conversation, whatever is left of me, I'm yours. The shot of Vesper here is actually from that scene.
Right. Forgive me. But yeah, and then what's this business card from Spectre?
You know, I wanted them to start out realistic and then build up to this kind of campy world where we could have things like that. And I don't think the in-between makes all that much sense, but part of the reason I do enjoy No Time to Die is because we can actually have Spectre business cards or a big party for Blofeld or a henchman with a cybernetic eye. Why not? I'm good with that.
But he reacts before the explosion. He goes, "Uh-oh." And then boom.
Yeah, I am wondering, like, was there like a mini explosion just before that we didn't see? I don't know.
Boom.
As a sound designer, I do love the whole sound going out here, mimicking, you know, kind of a temporary hearing loss. I think that's great.
Was it not? It's not supposed to kill him. It's just supposed to make him.
Yeah, no.
But then they still do their best to kill him with machine guns and stuff and cars running him over. If it wasn't luck, he would have been.
Yeah, no. I think sometimes the villains hope that their henchmen operate on stormtrooper logic. Make it seem like we're going to kill the guy, but don't really do it.
And then most of the town's involved in the plot as well. Like this young lad, the sheep herder. Is it the same guy?
In Calvin Dyson's very long video covering this whole thing, I do love the gags he puts in there of like, how young did they recruit these sheep herders?
Yeah, if it wasn't for that block in the road, he would have been run over.
Yeah.
Now, what do you rate of this henchman on the bike? The eyes, the eye. At least he lasts longer than Mr. Jinx. But yeah, it's a lovely location anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Italy's got so many fabulous locations that they still have never done in a Bond film. You know, they've never gone to Florence. And they still have never done Naples. But I'm with everybody else. We've kind of overdone Italy for a little bit. Let's at least leave it out for a couple of films. Let us do some other stuff.
Yeah. They are. Because, yeah, like was it the Bond experience saying there used to be travel logs because people didn't travel in the 60s and 70s as much. And now people can go anywhere where they want. So showing off somewhere nice and fancy is limited.
Yeah. I'm kind of more of a fan of the idea of like doing fewer locations, but spending more time in the locations. It's actually one of the reasons I love Thunderball. I don't think it's a strong film in terms of the plot, but it's the vacation Bond film to me. Get to go to the Bahamas, get to do some stuff there. You Only Live Twice is also not a film I enjoy that much, but it's the same kind of thing. I get to experience Tokyo at this particular time.
Yes, it is.
And it works very well.
She's the daughter of Spectre.
She is a daughter of Spectre.
And then you got his reaction to the eye popping out. Okay. Yes. I was thinking that they Bond. Is it only is it Skyfall in this one? He's used a motorbike? Bond ever?
Well, no, he does Tomorrow Never Dies.
Of course, under the helicopter. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, he does use motorbikes, but Cubby Broccoli rather infamously did not like motorbike action sequences. He thought they were very boring. I don't know what he's talking about, but whatever.
No, I don't know. He's obviously not doing them right. But yeah, he only uses the bike for that big jump, which was well, they say it was a last-minute stunt, but it still took like over a month to set up. And
last minute, my face.
Not just like, there's a wall there. You on the bike.
Sure.
there while we film it. But yeah, because if you look at that behind the scenes, they've face replaced a lot. Even
Yeah,
he's
there's
wearing
a
a crash helmet
CG
when he
head
does the stunt.
replacements.
But,
No, notably, this is the only Craig film that did not have Gary Powell doing the stunt
Yes.
on it.
Yes, I was afraid to ask him why when I spoke to him, just in case.
Yeah, I don't
it was
know.
a sore point.
Maybe it's a sore spot for him.
I might ask him in an email. Because yeah, he was doing. I don't know if it was Quantum Mania, right? He was very disappointed with.
Yeah, which as positive as I try to be, there are movies I don't like, and Quantum Mania is probably my least favorite of the MCU movies.
Of course. Yeah, the beginning GoldenEye out of bike, of course.
Yeah, that's right. He did use GoldenEye.
Just me.
Jumping after the plane.
But yeah, so there's night and day with this chase through an old city to the one in Spectre, isn't it?
Well, I've pointed this out several times because it kind of boggles my mind that this is the first proper action scene with the Aston Martin DB5 using gadgets since Goldfinger.
Yeah.
You tend to think it's used all the time because the Aston comes back in a bunch of films, but like it's all like almost every video game that has the DB5 has an action scene with gadgets in it. But yeah, no, it's only Goldfinger and No Time to Die that we actually do proper DB5 action, and I love this whole thing.
Yeah, doesn't have the rear plate I would have expected when I was shooting him. But...
Yeah,
and he could have ejected her.
That would have been hilarious.
Cheating bitch.
Yep.
But yeah, take a shot when there's product placement as well, because we just had the old Nokia phone that was like not a smartphone for some fucking reason. I guess they're on holiday. But yeah, how did they know? It's not like they're really. I'm supposed to show they're drawing him to that location with the sheep. Like he's a killer spy, but he won't hurt sheep. Apparently.
You have to have boundaries, I guess. Yeah, even people with a license to kill. Although, to be fair, he's out of the service now. He doesn't have a license to kill.
That is true. I'd rather die than you think, Dunk. So, yeah, if you've seen the making of when he does the donut in a minute, yeah, it's like squid. They set up squibs everywhere, and they had to protect all the old architecture and everything. They still blow everything up.
Which further baffles my mind why they couldn't do much more in Rome with that car chase, because I heard one of the reasons that they couldn't do much was because officials were kind of restricting them on doing more in that city because they didn't want, these expensive cars accidentally ramming into historical buildings, which fair enough.
Yeah.
But then you have a chase like this in Matera where, we blow things up just fine.
Well, when I asked Gary about that, he said, no, the government was not a problem. So I think it was more the director.
Yeah. Which, makes me scratch my head. I mean, I don't think Sam Mendes is great at action scenes, really. As much as I've come to appreciate Skyfall, it's still not one of my favorite films action-wise.
Trying to think, what is there now?
Well, there's the whole pre-credits thing where it goes from car to motorbike to train. You have the fight in I think it's Shanghai, up in the high-rise building. Yeah, there's a few things, and then of course there's the big shootout at Skyfall. There's the whole chase through London.
Yeah.
There's a few things, but just action-wise, I mean, No Time to Die, for whatever faults you want to lob at it, I so much prefer this action.
Yes, this definitely got great action. Because did you ever see the first season of True Detective that Carrie did?
Bits and pieces, yeah.
That is solid work.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But apparently, he hasn't actually done that much. Jane Eyre, 2011, episodes of TV show Maniac, I don't know about. Beasts of a No Nation, and then, straight onto this. But yeah. It's nice to see the car zooming around and then Getting
And
a
we
train.
had good, proper, bombastic Bond theme. No more 4-note progression to just cover our full thing. No, I want
yes.
bum, 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 bum. Yes.
Yes, we want him walking across the street to da 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 da.
Yeah. I don't need the hotel scene where he's going around like going for
Oh,
bugs
it's
and
my
then
lovely
Bond
hotel.
theme blaring. But,
Da, da, da,
I
da.
think there's a happy medium we can go here.
But yes, you got the subtle hint, and she touches her belly when she leaves.
Which I definitely noticed that the first time, but it will be
It's obvious,
another
but then
hour
by
and a
2
half
hours later.
before we reveal anything about it. So I did kind of forget it for a bit.
Yeah. And then because I don't. Does she ever smile in any of these scenes? I don't. Even when the happy scene, she just barely
She
raises
does
a
like
smile.
hints of a smile. Like when she's writing the note about the masked man, I know she smiles. But yeah. She's appropriately moody for a moody Bond.
So yes, good evening, Yvonne. Mr. Gen Z. This is what I really want to wait to hear, the chilling theme song by Billy. I can't tell if he's being serious. I don't mind this song.
I don't know, because like the Craig songs have such a divided thing with the fandom. Anything Craig is divisive now in the fandom, and I kind of hate that we got to that point.
Yeah.
But I mean, I grew up north of Seattle listening to emo rock. So while I think Billie Eilish is kind of a one-note act a lot of the time, I think it works for the moodiness that this film is supposed to have at the beginning. But I also do understand, if it's not your if it's not your cup of tea.
I could prefer it to build up to something epic.
It is.
Like other people have said, but it's the same all the way through. Yeah.
It's the same most of the way through until you get to the non-vocal parts, but even then, it's very brief. I get it.
So yeah, then we get good old Hans Zimmer doing this theme, because it's taken so long for him to do one, and he obviously jumped at the chance.
Yeah. I feel a little bad because John Williams has actually said in interviews that that if he did one more film or something, he always wanted to do a Bond film. But now he's getting up there in age. Who knows if they will actually take him up on that offer?
Yeah. Get him to
I don't know how I'd feel about a John Williams scored Bond film, but Williams is so brilliant. I'm sure he will win me over.
Yeah, because he's 90 something now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in his 90s. Frankly, I'm amazed he did as many Star Wars things as he did.
Well, yeah, he did.
Yeah,
at least 9, isn't it?
He did all 9 mainline saga films. He composed the theme for Solo and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Ah, right.
Yeah, because for those, I think he just wanted to get the check mark for the original trilogy characters where a theme didn't stick. He's like, no, I want to fix that.
So the songs won 3 Oscars. 3 songs won the Oscars. But
yeah, because there's been several songs in the past that have been nominated. I'm trying to remember if any of them won. I think the first nominated one was Live and Let Die. Nobody Does It Better was definitely nominated, and so was For Your Eyes Only. And I think between then and Skyfall, I think that was it for the songs.
That's what every time I see hearts and spades and stuff coming up on the screen, that's all I can hear now. But yes, we got new director of photography, Linda something.
Which this is so much more of a rich color palette than either Spectre or Skyfall. And I love Skyfall's cinematography. I think Sir Roger Deakins did a fine job. And I mean, Spectre was done by Hoyt van Hoytma, who is a Christopher Nolan alumni, who's obviously done great work there. But
then who is it? A lot of writers on this one, including Phoebe Waller-Bridge gets credited. So she must have done quite a lot.
So Phoebe Waller-Bridge, from what I read, she was brought in to pump up the female characters. And I think she was the one primarily responsible for the Cuba sequence.
Well, everyone says that I've only had 3 weeks of training by Anna de Armas is one of hers.
Yes.
But I read earlier that because Anna de Armas was nervous about doing all the action scenes because she's not known for all that.
Sure.
And then that's something she said to the director, and he said, "Oh well, say it in the scene, and we'll see what it sounds like." And then they kept it in.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? Because you do have to do quite a lot of writing to get a credit on these.
Yeah,
things.
you do. Bond films have ghostwriters all the time. Spy Who Loved Me only has 2 credited writers. There were at least 4, if not 5, on that.
Now, I don't know if you know British sitcoms very well.
Yeah, David Densink was not an actor I was familiar with before this.
No, it's the other guy, the one with the beard and the white beard. I think his name is Dennis.
Yeah.
No, not Dennis. That's the other.
Yeah,
Dennis.
that guy.
Apparently the casting director thought it'd be fun to have him in because he's been on like British television for like 30 years now. Yeah,
no, a lot of those kinds of casting choices, even dating back to Connery and Moore, when they would put people like that in, I didn't know who they were.
So everyone was surprised, and then he gets shot in the face later on. But spoilers. But yeah, what do you make of this guy? Do you find him annoying, or do you think?
I go back and forth because he really feels like he should be in either a Roger or a Pierce. But then again, that's part of what I was saying earlier. You know, No Time to Die is probably the campiest of Craig's films, and you know, we've had 4 films of it being relatively serious and moody and whatnot. This still has a lot of that, but there are moments where we remember, hey, it's a Bond film. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
He is a particularly nasty bit of work, this guy.
Yeah. It's like, oh, yes, I like animals. And then, he'll like, I can wipe out a whole race if you want me to.
Right. And he doesn't see a problem with that.
Well, he is very good at swallowing a USB stick, like he's done it many times.
Yeah.
Yes, this off-the-books chemical plant. Everyone gets slaughtered. Yes, well, they need to go back to having fun with the next films.
I'm fine with the Craig. I call it the Craig experiment, the 5 film, because they wanted to do something different. I'm fine with that. I understand as an artist, you want to do things like that, but yeah, let's remember this is a super spy that does have gadgets that beds a lot of women. You know, let's remember that, you know, sometimes we just want to have escapism.
Yeah. It's not like there are men out there that would be banging loads of women just for using them. So
no. I mean, Fleming originally wrote this character as an escape for his sorrow about getting married to his longtime girlfriend. So, it makes sense that, you know, let's do something that's not entirely realistic. I think there's good stuff that can come from the realism. Obviously, you know, I'm a big fan of Majesty's Secret Service and Dalton and most of what Craig did. But like, generally, if I'm going to put in a Bond film, I like my Pierce. I like my Roger.
Yeah. Now, is that where you get an understanding of British humor from, the Roger Moore era?
I just thought all British people spoke like Roger.
Just keeping the British end up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Boom. Yep. Dennis is out. Hugh Dennis, I think someone said. Yeah.
Yep.
And so probably upset quite a few people because he's in like a family sitcom that's been running for like 15 years now. And they didn't even change his look. But yeah, then we get this very high-tech escape where they could just scale down the elevator shaft.
Which, again, this feels like it's out of a Pierce Brosnan film to me.
Yeah. So, yeah, they drop this missile that shoots little things against the wall that are magnets that slow you down and let you go. It's all very fancy, but I don't know if it's based in any reality at all.
Yeah, let's not worry about it. especially the Connery films, they kind of have this pseudo reality to it, things that seem plausible enough, but not necessarily realistic or believable. And they kind of kept that going for a long time.
Yeah, because I like in Goldfinger, he's got the tracking device and a map, but then somehow the map on the static screen can change.
Yeah, I never understood that. It just has like thousands and thousands of like roads kind of built in the back there. I don't know.
He's got to change the screen, the plastic cover on the screen every time he wants to move the map. Oh, there's M. Naughty M. So I think, was it Spectre or is it Skyfall? No, Spectre, I think. M was going to be the bad guy.
Spectre, I believe.
Yeah, and then Ray Fiennes said, nope, not doing that.
So you guys are going to get a cameo from
hey,
my dog.
Poochie. Or is it Fufu, as someone said?
No, this is Tessie.
Tessie. That's not a Bond name, is it?
No, that is it was my wife's choice. Our joke is that she's named after Miss Tessmacher.
Miss Tessmacher!
Yep.
So yes, get me 007. And he is living a lovely life. And he's not going to eat both of those anytime soon, either. Did we see Felix smoking cigars a lot? But he would know a cigar ash is...
The older films, I don't think.
No. He only... Because Felix is only in, Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace for a little bit. But apparently, they had to build this whole set for his new pad, and then they base it on a lot of Fleming's own flat.
Yeah, off of the GoldenEye estate.
Yeah, I think they got a replica of Fleming's desk in Bond's bedroom in the corner.
Yeah, the behind the scenes on this place in particular is really interesting to me. And I think there's a phrase they use in there that they basically wanted to create something where time has no meaning. And that makes a lot of sense to me, that like if Bond's going in isolation, he wants to live in his kind of comfort zone of like, this is the style and this is what we're living in. And weirdly enough, I did note this when I did the review for the film. Casino Royale 1967 had the same idea for David Niven's retreat at the very beginning of the film. It's styled differently, but it goes off of the same creative viewpoint, which is if Bond's going to be by himself, it's basically going to be frozen in time.
There's our first shot of Nomi. I'll appear later. And then, so there's also scenes cut out. It comes up later on where he's walking around the house with the spear gun that's cut out. That's in the making of. But there's the cigar, which is a brand that's mentioned in, Die Another Day, that they don't make.
Delectatus.
That's it. You ever smoked a big cigar? Every once in a while I try something.
No,
make me sick.
I'm a man of few vices.
Yeah. Need a ride.
Need a ride.
And then the obvious bad guy turns up.
Right.
Yeah. This definitely needed another adventure with Felix and Bond.
I think so.
Because people said he would have been useful in the Cuba shootout as well later, but
Yeah, but I'm kind of torn about that because I love Ana de Armas, but I also kind of feel like if I were writing this film, I probably would have made that Felix, because Bond and Felix actually don't go shooting on a mission together, really. He always just like hangs back and plays administrative or backup duties. Like, I want to see the two of them actually in a gunfight against other people.
That would have been cool.
That would have been great.
Yeah. So Bond's in a nightclub smoking with drinking Heinekens. Did Pierce drink Heinekens at any point? Am I imagining that? Or was it only Craig's?
I don't know. Because like the first time it became really obvious to me was in Skyfall, where he has like the Heineken when he's drinking at the beginning.
Maybe it's that I'm thinking of. Because it's Perrier that's in GoldenEye.
I wouldn't be surprised. Die Another Day had like 20 different promotional partners for that film. And that is not an exaggeration. They deliberately cut back on that for Casino Royale because everybody kept calling it Buy Another Day.
Yeah, it is. Well, there's lots. I looked it up earlier. I was going to get a list, but it's just too many. And it's like it just because he's drinking a Heineken there. I don't want one. I wouldn't go buy one. Same with the watch. I'm never going to have one of his Amiga bloody watches either.
Nah.
How many have you got? About one from each film?
No, I do have a friend who is part of a watch group, but it's not the majority of us. I'll tell you that much.
I thought, yeah. I'm looking around. Well, I got the DVDs and the Blu-rays. But yeah, there's like stuff and signs in the background that they say that they pay to have it put in screen. You think, why? You're not gonna get money back from that. No one's gonna see this sign because he uses Smirnoff vodka in this one. But I didn't notice until it was.
You'd be surprised. I mean, that's David Zaritsky's whole thing with the Bond experience is showing like if you want this type of thing, here's where you get it or what have you. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did start looking like after Craig started doing the first couple. I think Quantum, he had a pair of sunglasses for that I really, really loved, and so I went out and found something that was reminiscent because I was still in high school when Quantum came out.
Yeah, neither did I. There he is. So if Philo's never seen this, from what I heard, this is probably the best way to watch it. A Blu-ray on a 14-inch CRT. There you go.
Obviously, yeah. Old tube TV. That's how you should.
That's how Nolan said to watch Oppenheimer.
David Lynch is rolling in his grave right now.
There you go. Hi, David. 6K for Bond Amiga Seamaster. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a watch, isn't it? Tells time. What else does it do? Unless it's got a laser in it. I'm not having that for $6,000. Or a ticker tape. I want the ticker tape one.
I just did a video on the gadgets of Bond, which ones were my favorite. I mean, other than the laser watch, I think the one I would want to have is the magnet watch with the buzzsaw.
Yes. Where the hell does that buzzsaw come from?
I have no idea. But man, is that handy.
Let me just open this packet of bread. Yeah, still don't know why Primo was there.
I see it as just kind of like one of those. Blofeld has this thing that he was specifically hoping to get Bond there. So I imagine that's partly why he set his birthday in Cuba. You know, it's close enough. He thinks that might draw Bond out of hiding. So I don't have a problem with that.
But yeah,
Primo could be piggybacking off of the CIA because Felix somehow knows where to find Bond. MI6 doesn't, but Felix does.
So yeah, again, he's not working. He hasn't worked for 5 years. Yeah, he's built this house with all its mod cons of special buttons that open drawers, secret drawers and stuff. So
yeah, I don't know. My idea is that he went and worked carpentry.
Apparently, they put so much effort into this. They had local Jamaican builders build it to the style of that it would be. And they didn't have any. There's no roads to this place, and they had to bring everything in by boat. So the first thing they did was bring in a boat and build a pier, and then they could bring in all the boats with the equipment to build the house.
Jeez,
but yeah, the money's all on screen. What was the budget on this? It was over 200 million, wasn't it? But yeah, 250 million estimated. But it still made 770 million worldwide.
I think its intake was hurt because we were still on the back end of COVID.
Yes, because how many times was it? 5 times it was delayed?
I think this was it was delayed at least 3 or 4 times. But remember, this was released like I think a month or 2 before Spider-Man, No Way Home, which I think was like the first real big success coming out of COVID. So
sort of September 28th, London premiere. September 30th, out in the United Kingdom, along with most of Europe, South America. Did you get it a week later?
Yeah, because you Brits.
8th of October. There you go.
Yeah. I did go to see this opening day.
I remember. It's probably back then when I was going. It would have been the Thursday evening one or a Monday.
Evening, that's what I did. Gone to work that morning, did a few things, and then did this at like 6 p.m.
Oh, yeah. There's the fancy. Yeah, or the new Aston Martin. I've never even noticed it before. It's pointed out to me. There's a concept car or the latest version. This electric one, isn't it, in the background? Yeah, I've never noticed because I was concentrating on what was going on.
I like to think it's kind of a subtle reference. Diamonds Are Forever actually has an Aston Martin behind Q very early on when Bond calls them to congratulate him on the fake thumbprint. There is an Aston in there, but of course Bond never uses it. And so I kind of like to think that they're just cars in the back of Q's lab that we'll never see.
Yeah. Because, he seems to have this whole area to himself. Because in all the other films, the old films, you had a team of people working on stuff, testing stuff. But this one seems to work alone more than building.
I guess Daniel Shaw doesn't like having sexy women around. But then again, it's confirmed later in this movie that he's at least bi. Because he does have a male friend coming over.
Yeah. This woke Bond, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, because it was delayed 2 years, was it? By the time they got round to getting it out?
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they tinkered it? I don't know if someone says there, Top Gun Maverick was delayed by 2 years too.
That's true.
They spent their time editing and fixing and doing
they spent their time working on it. I think No Time to Die, for the most part, was just kind of sitting there. Because it was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this was the first major Hollywood film I heard anything about them delaying because of COVID. Because, within a week or two later, you had Black Widow delayed, you had a bunch of other things. Yeah,
I guess it followed suit. So, there was apparently, in the background, there's shipping containers with a logo on of a company I've never even heard of. And apparently that's the thing. But, and then the delays in, which I can't see what she's drinking, but the delays cause problems because they're advertising mobile phones in this, and of course, delaying 2 years is death to a mobile phone because it's 2 behind by then. Which they fixed it with computer editing in the adverts and commercials they use for this, but then in the film,
I believe it.
They had to let it go. I think. Well, I wish they for that.
I wish they had gone the route of Tomorrow Never Dies, because that phone gadget is not an actual phone that was built specifically for that film, which makes it very nice. It's kind of like the Aston Martin Inspector. They built it specifically for Spectre. You can't really, you can't go to an Aston dealer and get that.
Nuts. There's my birthday present gone then. But yes, here we get the lovely Anna Darmus, because Daniel Craig suggested her after working together on Knives Out.
And she's fantastic.
She is. She's the highlight of the film for me.
Fair enough.
I mean, keen and kick-ass, but she is another one that's had, even though she's doing the gun movements and everything and fighting, there's a few scenes where she's not this thing, and it's the, hang on, where is it? Let me bring up a picture. I got a picture here. There you go. This stunt actress.
Yep.
Who I can never, unfortunately, pronounce her name. I did tag her in this. She did like it. Muna Mula, who's a stunt woman. She was in Wonder Woman and stuff like that. So they dotted her face to replace it later. But she does the flying, spinning kick. For the feet. And then we get the Ib things again that we have in all these spy films that somehow have everlasting batteries. They're in constantly, no matter what you're doing or where you are in the world, and they work.
Yeah. But I do wish that there was one last callback to Casino Royale, stop touching your ear.
I was expecting that.
I was expecting that too the first time, because I I remember seeing that in Skyfall, and like nobody had pointed that out to me, and I was like, "Oh, hey, they did a callback."
Yeah, I love how she chugs the vodka martini as well to settle her nerves. Yeah, there's Bond's toothbrush they stole. I don't think. But that. Right, so they got the guy with the eye is setting up this Spectre assassination, but then the scientist is swapping the samples, so all the Spectre dies. So I'm guessing he's not part of Safin's plot yet. And he just changes
Primo
later.
is Primo or Cyclops, whichever you want to call him. He's a gun for hire. So, he gets hired on with Spectre, but he's not actually Spectre.
Right.
Which is why he's able to come over to Safin's plan later. But no, at this time, he's a Blofeld man.
Now, how does the theory of this stuff? So it's nanobots that can never get away. They're stuck
It's nanobots that
stuck
target
on your skin or in your skin eventually, or into the bloods, or is it only the people that are infected that goes into their blood?
So, as I understand it, you set up a target for it using DNA, and originally the idea when M put it forth was to just be a single target. So you get specifically that person's DNA. But Safin reworks it at some point, I imagine with, David Densing's character, so that it can target groups of people. You just change it a little bit. And so then the nanobots carrying this virus pass from person to person through their skin until they find the people with the right kind of DNA and then can wipe them out.
We just had Mr. Wilson's cameo in the club.
Yep.
I think, is he dressed as a naval officer or something? Or...
I thought he was just another member of Spectre.
Yeah. It's just the suit he's wearing. Confused me with it's all shiny. But yeah, there's a few other people that were in the Spectre.
Which I love that they brought people back over from Spectre in that big meeting to come back into here. Little bits of continuity like that do a lot for me.
Yeah, and I seem to have back earlier it showed they got a video camera on Blofeld. And I've never noticed him talking to his eye.
No, they just think he's mumbling, just nyam, 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 nyam. I don't know. I can buy that to a point. There would be a certain thing where you're like, okay, he might be having his own conversation, but it's a structured thing. He's actually saying things.
Yeah, he's giving instructions.
He's giving instructions. So he's obviously talking to somebody, right?
Yeah, I want a big cake. And I want Bond there to cut it for me. So yeah, this ridiculous eye on a tray. Here's the party you can't attend, Blofeld.
Yep.
And then they all gather around him, and he's up while they're looking at me. James Bond, and they've got a lighting set up ready.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Did not go the way we intended.
Yeah, and then we get the spray. So this is why I always thought it was a virus more than...
No, the nanobots are part of that spray.
Yeah, and then some people start dissolving very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is exactly what my birthday party is like, except without the people being...
Mass murder. Yeah, sure.
Taking out my enemies, my nemesises. And then, only Spectre is dying.
I love this reaction that Anna gives him. Huh?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this. But, there's the scientist. Hello. Are you my escort? Now, does he mean escort, or does he mean someone to take him away to Safin?
I don't think she wants to think that hard about it.
Go. So, yes, all this... he keeps the drink, chucks the tray, and then chugs the drink.
Sure.
Yeah, and he's swallowing the USB again, but she kicks it out of his head. But yeah, she leans there and then shoots a gun right past his ears. You think, yeah, he's not.
Yeah, if Bond didn't die by the end of this, if he didn't already have hearing damage from the thousands of gunshots that he's done,
yeah,
he would now.
So, yeah, this whole street, building, and everything is a set in was it Pinewood?
Yeah,
which is amazing.
Yeah,
it's a fully working whole area. And then yeah, Nomi comes in, zip lines in, and
it doesn't feel like a set.
No, it's I know Anna de Armas is from Cuba, so she said it was very well made and has the history. Yet chuck her a machine gun, she catches it.
Yeah.
Now Craig said he wasn't doing as many stunts in this one because he buggered up his knee and other stuff in all the other films.
Pretty much, like I know Casino Royale, he like chipped a tooth. Quantum, he had a bit of an injury. Skyfall, he might have, but yeah, Spectre, he screwed up his legs so bad, yeah, that they were almost going to delay the picture for 6 or 7 months while he recuperated, and he just decided to carry on.
Yeah, he knew it was his last.
Or he thought Spectre was his last, and then there was this. Yet another injury.
Yeah. But yeah.
Kind of reminded me of Harrison Ford. There was a period there where like every film he was doing, he something.
Crushed by a door, and then
yep.
Was it? I don't know. Was it a horse injury in Destiny? I can't remember now. What?
I think so.
Oh, she smashed. Yeah, so. Yeah, because you can see it is her kicking everyone there and then stomping on people's faces. And she's got there you go, that spin kick. Yeah, I can see the cut.
It's excellent.
Her hair hides it. But yeah, what do you make of this? Because yeah, someone mentioned earlier, she's in the new John Wick as the ballerina. But is that like 5 years too late after this to get a momentum? Everyone wanted a spin-off. I can't see this comment now. But yeah,
this might be my single favorite segment of the film.
Yeah, and then
Dude drinks. He hops over the table so nonchalant.
Yeah, he does a very good job. Salute.
Zimmer Bond theme. Dun 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 dun. Oh my gosh.
Here you go. Yeah, they just grab the gun, one hand over the table, so gracefully.
So
just like Bond is supposed to be. Now, is it the car? She gets the Cadillac. The black Cadillac is the same one that was in. Is it Dr. No? Bond's driving in that one, or is it Goldfinger? I can't remember which way around it was. It's an old black Cadillac.
Yeah, I don't.
One of those.
I don't know that it was Dr. No. That's a Sunbeam Alpine, I think.
Okay.
It could be.
So how did she not kill him, knocking the scaffolding over? No airbags in that either. Oh no! Boom. Yeah, because. Yeah, that would have done me, and he hits his back right on the car as he comes down and bounces off.
That messed me up for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not walking away from that one. Hey, Doctor, the path of this film divorces the Krieg era from the rest of the franchise for me.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, and
just as I'm willing to die on the hill defending the sequel trilogy to a point, I will die on the hill saying No Time to Die is fun for me. I understand where people are coming from. It's not like it's devoid of problems, but
yeah,
I can think of worse ways to spend 2.5, 3 hours watching a film.
Yeah, that's plenty of because we are an hour in, and I will leave you for a few seconds. I'll be right back. You can talk about something.
Yeah, I'll try reading some of the comments because you actually have them on screen this time.
Yes, I can see them. There you go.
Yeah. Josh, they absolutely wasted Christoph. Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely they did. And I don't blame it entirely on the producers too. It also sounds like it was a bit of Waltz himself. He had a direction he decided he wanted to go with in Spectre, and it really didn't work. See, I haven't watched the new Mission Impossible, but I've heard very mixed reviews. Mission Impossible, funnily enough, I didn't grow up with that. and I think I've only seen each of the films once. I enjoy it well enough, but I can't say that like I'm heavily invested in it like I am Bond. But yeah, some people I know really enjoy that movie, but it tends to be very casual people, and then you've got the usual people who've been invested in the series for a little bit that really didn't like it. I don't know. If they end up killing off Tom Cruise at the end of the movie, I'm not going to be surprised. Although, to be fair, I haven't watched the last Mission Impossible either, Dead Reckoning, before. I just didn't get around to it. That's a shame. That's a shame that it wasn't fun at all. But oh well. Tell me a long-running film series that its last film is the absolute best one. Yeah, not just trilogies, but like long-running series. Yeah.
There we go. Back in the room. Right. So yes, it all comes out now. Who's the bad guy? It's all gone red.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Although, what's this character's name?
What, Billy Magnuson?
Yeah.
Logan Ash.
That's it.
And he's actually my favorite of the henchmen in this film.
Yeah, I guess he does qualify as that, doesn't he?
He does. Because he's a Safin guy.
Spoilers?
No, he just reveals it right now.
Some of these people haven't seen the film yet.
But I guess, well, if they're watching a watch party about it, I assume they don't care that much.
No, they don't.
No, but I immediately took a liking to him once Craig did his joke at the towards the beginning. Where'd you find the Book of Mormon? That's great.
It was very clever. Oh, you've shot Felix, you bastard.
I almost want to cut away from South Park. Oh my God, you killed Felix.
Yes. Uh-oh. Yeah. Oh, look at that tackle. He picks up, smashes him to the roof, and then drops him down. Oh, uh-oh. Yes, I am Dr. Orbachov. When was the last Bond game?
2012's 007 Legends. Yeah, and I haven't met too many people that had a good thing to say about that. That's the only game since Agent Under Fire I've not done. And like sometimes I might be interested just because it's been so long without a Bond game, but other times I remember, oh yeah, that's right, it's supposed to be terrible.
Because yeah, Quantum of Solace is the last film one.
Yes, if you don't count Craig's remake of GoldenEye that they did, and then Bloodstone was its own original game.
Yeah. Felix, oh yeah, we stopped meeting like this. Boom. So yeah, they weren't allowed to damage the boat, so they had to set this explosion and fireball so it wouldn't even scratch it, which
that's impressive to me.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, they had to do a lot of testing on what to do and what charge and everything, but yeah.
I'm so glad that the Academy is finally starting to recognize, these stunt people, they really put a lot of work into it.
Yes, good. Yeah. But yeah, there's some people have said, well, yeah, how are you going to do it though? Is it the best stunt in the film, whole stunt team?
There was a lot of conversation about that. This is a sidetrack, but the Tony Awards for theater, there was a debate for a number of years about how to quantify sound design. But it turned out that just the people on these committees just didn't understand enough about sound design for it to be included.
Right.
And so that might be the same thing here with stunts. Is just people don't know exactly what that means. Does it mean a single stunt? Does it mean like the whole group of stunts within the films? I don't care how you decide to do it. Let's just start giving some retroactive Oscars to Bond films.
Yeah, because when you look at the credits of this, there's about 50 names for the stunts, and then they're all over the world. They're all done different sections of the film, and so like the guy on the bike, there's the car spinning and stuff like that, the car chase.
And then there's just a whole bunch of little things that you and I just wouldn't think of. Just, people falling from certain heights or particular complicated action bits. I mean, there's a bunch. Yeah,
the guy on the scaffolding falling and someone did that for real and hit the car.
Them doing the zip line before that would have been some stunt people doing that probably.
There's Felix falling away just like Vesper did in the water. Ian's only seen 2 of the Craig Bond movies, and this isn't one of them. It's out of 5.
All right, you guys revel in your Craig. That's fine. To be fair, I enjoyed No Time to Die more than Skyfall, but Skyfall is the better movie. I've grown a new appreciation with that every time. Whereas Casino Royale, I didn't need multiple viewings. One viewing, that was it. I knew it was my favorite.
Yeah, that was such a...
And like, I don't watch that as often as I do some of the other Bond films, but every time I go back to it, I'm like almost re-impressed. I'm just like, oh man, that is such a good movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, leave it at that. Oh, Josh is saying leave it out. Yeah. I think I've seen the best 2, Casino Royale and Skyfall. There you go.
I don't know too many people that would disagree with you on that, Ian.
Yeah, you don't.
But the unofficial motto behind my channel is no Bond film is without merit, and I really do stand by that. That doesn't mean that they're all great. That doesn't mean that they're all necessarily worth owning. But there is something I like in every film. It's just up to you whether you want to sit through 2.5 hours to watch it.
Yeah, there was that shot there. He whips the cover off, and he's on the left.
Get that
and the door shuts on the right.
I do not.
I never noticed that before, but someone pointed out again. I think it was Calvin. And yeah, you're right. I don't know if it's a magic edit or that's how they wanted it to appear, but yeah, there's
it confuses the heck out of me every time I see it. And that sucks because you get another proper Bond theme as he walks in here to headquarters.
Yep. So
with a really funny delivery of James Bond.
So this is another guy from British sitcoms that's behind the counter.
Yeah.
He was in Phone Shop, if anyone's seen that. There's Moneypenny. What do you make of Nomi's attitude?
The chip on the shoulder. I do think that makes for kind of a fun dynamic. There might be a place or two where she's playing more the caricature than an actual person. Because I think at some point you'd be just like, well, I got to give Bond that. That was a pretty cool stunt or something like that.
Yeah.
She's not my favorite ally, but she's also not my least favorite.
Yeah, like I said, I watched this in cinema. I wasn't keen on it. Watched it the second time, had to skip bits because I wasn't enjoying it. And then I watched it the other night. I enjoyed it all the way through. Yeah, like the line where everyone tries at least once to shoot him. So Ralph Fiennes went from this where and then he got all jacked for that. Was it Shakespeare thing he did?
Which Shakespeare thing?
I don't know. He did a recent film. I might not be a Shakespeare thing.
Because the big Shakespeare thing that I know that he did where he got kind of ripped was before this. That was Coriolanus.
No, I think there's another one then. I thought it was recent.
No, I know that was before this because I remember watching it in grad school, and this came out after grad school for me.
Okay. Because they did this. That other actor who's in Whiplash, everyone thought he was going to be a ripped.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, he's ripped in Justice League, but yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah,
he was covered.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, see. I think still think Skyfall is overrated, but it's good.
It is a little overrated. Like, when it came out, everybody was putting it as, top 5 or even their very favorite. I never understood that.
Yeah, it's never going to be a very favorite.
Yeah, no, it was a step up from Quantum, which was about the only thing I agreed with most people on with that film.
Yeah. Yeah, Expendables 4. Okay, yeah.
Yes. No, it is possible to make a terrible film with $150 million in this calendar world, but it is quite hard because whenever somebody's making a movie, there are people that are putting their hearts and souls into it, and I've seen very terrible films that have like great production design elements or things like that. It doesn't save a movie, but there's something. The worst films I've ever seen are usually under $100 million, and they're like everybody did this for the money kind of film. Like the Jason Freeberg, Aaron Seltzer movies, those parody movies, epic movie, date movie.
I have never seen any of those.
That's my baseline of like, if somebody says this is the worst movie ever made, I'm like, is it worse than Disaster Movie? and I've yet to hear too many people say, well, no, it's not that bad.
It's bad, but not that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, those, I luckily stopped off on those after, I can't even remember. They did Scary Movie 3, did they? Or is it the other parodies as well?
5 of those at least.
Yeah, they were involved at some point. The Wayans did the first 2, and then I think they were co-writers or something by then, and then they spun off, didn't they?
Yeah, they spun off and did Date Movie with Allison Hannigan, Epic Movie, which was with Cal Penn, which was so dumb. So dumb. And then Meet the Spartans. That's actually one of the few movies I've never been able to sit through more than the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, I've never seen the trailer.
And I can't. It's
so,
terrible.
yeah. So he just left the office and he flung his ID card straight in the bin. Do you think he did the first take or did they cheat or he did it multiple takes?
Yeah, no, I think it's one of those like Lego Batman things. Throw it a bunch of times. First try.
It mentions later that he's staying with Q.
Yeah, because
it's only in a line, but yeah, it's never...
Yeah, they say that later that when M's like, "Oh, drop the act. I know he's staying with you."
But yeah, there's got the when he does check the USB, he says, "Do you know where this came from?" I know where it's been, and then he says, "All right, I'll put it in these sandboxes." Like everyone's slated in for.
Yeah,
plugging the last one into a laptop on the network.
If you want a fun spin-off idea, Amazon, put Bond and Q as roommates together and let's do an Odd Couple movie.
Oh, please.
I would love that.
Use a coaster Bond.
I'd love it.
That would work. More than the Money Penny Adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah. His foul cat. But yeah, got a nice flat.
I do agree with your commenters. Howard the Duck's pretty bad.
Uh-oh. Yeah, not for Michael Myers. Yes, I thought he'd. Yeah, I got Cool as Ice coming up with Vanilla Ice soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a step up from that. I've never seen Cool as Ice as well, so I can.
You're in for an experience.
I hate rappers. Alucard, yes, another damn bank holiday. Yeah, not another one till August, and then from August we got this Christmas. Is the next one after that. Now I think there's product placement. There's a bottle of champagne or something in the fridge.
Yeah,
not that I've ever noticed. So well worth the money.
Yeah, I'm a little distracted in this apartment when Bond's like, they come with fur these days.
Poor cat. Yeah. Let's have a look. It's a. Oh yeah, here's a tiny fragment of the data I needed just to fill in all the gaps. I love how Spectre have their own logo on the system.
Ian just posted a comment. I absolutely agree with that. There are different categories of worst.
Yes.
It's one thing. There's a website that I really like that my reviews are inspired by, SF Debris, and I started watching him when he did individual Star Trek episode reviews. But he's always quick to say, when I give these a number grade, it's within the series itself rather than some arbitrary standard of good or bad or whatever. So like when he ranks Star Trek Voyager episodes, it's within Star Trek Voyager. He's not comparing it to Deep Space Nine or the series. And so to me, that's kind of where I'm at with Bond or with Star Wars or something like that. Worst within those franchises, worst across all things I've ever seen. I don't know if I could say that.
Yeah, because there's some films I've not finished because even I can't get through them.
Yeah.
And
And I have willingly sat through every Bond film multiple times, had different things to enjoy about them. Yeah. If I can finish a film, it's not the worst.
Oh, we're in London again. There we go. Exterior of London, just the Horse Guards. Because they're always out and about in London. What's he doing with his hair or whatever? Is it just
well,
a fidget spinner type
I assume
thing?
that's what he's going to use to do the DNA virus on her later. Just grabbing a strand of hair from somewhere.
But yeah, how could he be 100% sure it's hers if he didn't take it?
That is a good point.
She must have a cleaner or a secretary or something.
How many people did she actually see in her office? I don't know. Maybe a lot.
Oh, yeah, because she's a psychiatrist and people in and out all the
Exactly.
time.
There's a bunch of people. How does he know that blonde hair is hers?
Yeah. Aha, I've killed her. Oh, no. This person's died now. Oh, dear.
It's some grocery lady in the back.
You know, our entire family. Yes, foxgloves. Don't eat them. But yes, I guess... So what happened? He pulls it from ice, we're guessing,
Yeah.
and then leaves her, doesn't take her to a hospital, leaves her there, and then...
Yeah, I assume that because he has this obsession with her, that's clear. And it seems like he can't quite bring himself to kill her. I don't know exactly what that is because they don't talk about it.
No.
Like, specifically what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all for leaving some things up to the viewer's imagination. There are certain things you do need to be succinct about. And when it comes to motivations, this film does not give me nearly enough to feel like I've got a grip on this guy.
No. I don't know, because, I don't know how he got his money to buy an island and everything. But, it came from his family, didn't it? I guess they were criminals or something.
Yeah, they were members of Spectre. They do a little bit of backstory about where he got the island and things like that. But those sorts of things aren't as important to me as things like, can I just figure out what your frickin' plan is? Because that's one thing I will give every other Bond villain over this, even the worst ones. Because I think like Gustav Graves from Die Another Day or Mathieu Malrix, Dominic Green from Quantum of Solace, those are pretty bad villains. I still know what they're after. I will at least give them that. I have no clue what this guy's overall goal.
Yeah, it's like has he been watching her in the background for 20 years? And she's
I don't
just
know.
not known about it? Or he just now he decided to get back in touch?
Yeah, because if his obsession is with Madeline, I don't think the nanobots really have anything to do with that. And then the nanobots, it doesn't seem like he actually has a succinct goal with them because he's selling them off to a bunch of people. So, like, does he want money? Does he want her in his life? I don't get it.
Yeah, because getting the boats that coming to his island with the big shooter.
Which that's a very contrived part of the ending. That's part of my...
right.
Yeah, that's part of my problem with the ending.
The rushed ending.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like 2 hours and 30 minutes of this with a lackluster villain, I'm okay with. Those last 15 minutes, they fall apart when you breathe on them.
Well, we'll get to that in an hour.
Yeah, we will get to that later.
So yes, Dr. Bottle, I do feel the cast is underused at some degree, though the film does have some highly impressive stunt and location work, but the script is somewhat lacking. Now, is he talking about this or Mission Impossible? Let's just come out.
That's probably equally applicable.
Because I would agree on both of those.
No, there are certain bits of this movie that I think are really well written. I think they've got a lot going on with it, a lot of subtext. Cohesiveness? Nah.
Yeah. Why is Freddie Mercury trying to kill everyone? Yeah, and of course we have top secret meetings outside in the open by the Thames.
I mean that's an old enough spy thing. I can somewhat buy that.
Nice to see that M has his lunch. The head of MI6 is on out in the open.
I'm told that's quite a distance away from where MI6 usually is. So, well,
exactly. Where is it now? Because have we seen the outside in any of these films since they blew up the other one? Oh, yeah. They had the new building in Spectre, wasn't it?
They had the Nine Eyes building, but they were meeting underground.
Yeah, and then they had these new digs in Skyfall.
Despite the fact that M's office looks exactly like the office that would have been in the old building anyway. No, I know that they're in a new building here. I don't think we see.
I don't remember seeing it.
No, we do because Bond pulls up to it, but it's just like some nondescript.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
double parked.
Yeah,
he's going to get a massive. Lucky his car might be cubed by the time he gets back to it in London. You get like 15-minute intervals of parking. It's
extortion. I mean, Bond gets out of there pretty quickly.
Oh, for fuck's sake. So, yeah. Second F-bomb. Who was it? Judi Dench had the other one?
Yeah, Judi Dench had the first one.
Skyfall, was it?
Yep. Because she screwed it up.
So, yeah, back in 89 when everyone complained, Bond was a 15 certificate for the first time since it's all PGs. And then we got what? Casino Royale was a 12. Quantum Solace is a 12.
Yeah. I think License to Kill is still the highest rated one for you guys.
Yeah. And they're all 12s.
Because PG-13 here in the States means almost nothing now. That could be anything.
Yeah, we had the 12. Now we have the 12A. If you need you can be 12 or over, or if you're under 12, you can bring an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And they can decide. Since when has Bond been cohesive? Certainly understand what you said. I can't remember how many scriptwriters were involved in this film. Give me a ballpark figure. Credited.
At least four. But no, I think part of the problem too with Bond never being cohesive, Cubby Broccoli has started this from the beginning. They never planned ahead. It was always one film at a time. And, when it was mostly standalone films, that kind of worked, but it also kind of screwed them up when they got to Blofeld and whatnot, because you had three films that do not really blend together very well. But they kind of kept doing that. And they continued that mentality into the Craig era, which I do not understand after Quantum of Solace, why they kept doing that.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Deceased. So, yes, someone went to a funeral and they poisoned them when they kissed the corpse.
Yeah, sure. The kiss of death.
Yeah. Damn. What's the name of the lady in Spectre? Monica Bellucci.
Donna Lucia.
Yeah. Did she survive? Or do we never find out either way?
No, she did.
Okay. I know he took her away, but I don't know what he did with her.
Yeah, because he called up Felix to take care of her.
I thought it was.
It is specifically mentioned, but she's in the movie 5 minutes.
Which is, a shame, because they've been wanting her for years.
Yeah, because Brosnan originally wanted her for Tomorrow Never Dies to play the Terry Hatcher role, Paris Carver, which she would have killed in that.
She is great. See, License to Kill was cut in the States to avoid an R rating.
Yes, it was.
I think it was even cut here. With the head explosion.
I finally got to see those edits with the Ultimate Edition, and the head blowing up, they cut away before that.
License was cut for a 15, so assuming it would have been an 18 uncut. Yeah,
possible.
Yeah, it's the difference between the UK and here, mostly. It's only a number.
Yeah. Your viewers are also having comments about Bond film length. For me,
Oh,
2 hours,
Scroll down.
give or take 10 minutes. Depends on what you do. I think 2 hours and 20 is about the maximum you should do, but that's got to be like a film that really justifies it, because even the Bond films that are that long, I think Casino's the only one that justifies it to me, but even then it does feel a little long. But like Majesty's Secret Service, there's a period of about 45 minutes in there where it does drag.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I'm with you guys. About 2 hours, give or take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
About how long a Bond film should be.
Gets it done. Look, she's never happy. I know she's she's being used now, but yeah. She's not suspicious of this at all.
Blofeld's eyeball unlocked.
I know it's
That is so cheesy.
It's just outline, doesn't it? So we know what's happening.
Thanks for the exposition.
Now, why does it even record everything that I has ever seen? So surely it's got like 8 hours of blank.
Maybe there's a cloud storage somewhere. I don't know.
I would assume a cloud storage, so you could use it.
But even
seems
still,
to suggest it's all stored on the eye.
But even still, like they've been getting really, really good with data storage, like being so small. Yeah, I just think there's a cloud somewhere. Maybe Blofeld has an Outlook cloud.
Apple Cloud.
Dropbox Pro. Yep.
Yes. You think Blofeld's going to pay for a pro account? He's just going to have multiple accounts and sign up for free for that. That's right. Yeah. So License to Kill's 15 up there. Dr. Swan, good afternoon. Like, this is the first time he's seen her in 5 years since he put her on a train. He thinks he's going to shake his hand. Mr. Bond. Oh, yeah. Bad Boys 2 is very overlong for an action movie. That's another one's about 2.5 hours, isn't it? Or 2 hours 20.
It's about that long.
But it's got a whole...
But I mean, Michael Bay never does great at longer lengths either.
Well, his ambulance film, that's like that's about 2.5 hours, I think.
Yeah.
It's just an ambulance chase. But yeah, it used to be the old less than 90 minutes to get more screenings in the 80s, and then now it's streaming. They want you sat there longer.
I really do wonder if that plays a part into it, because a lot of us wait until after the theater to watch these movies now, and so.
Yeah, because Mission Impossible was the first one I saw on the cinema this year. Nothing else has tempted me.
Yeah. I mean, I saw Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, but that's not a new movie. Was the last film I saw in theater? I think the last film I saw in theaters was Wicked, but that's because I had family around for Christmas.
Oh, last Christmas. So yeah.
Yeah.
6 months ago.
So I don't think I've been to. Oh no, wait! I did do the re-release of. No, it was again a re-release.
Releases,
no movies. It's just a bunch of re-releases of older movies. I've been finding going.
Not the Thunderbolts. I couldn't care. I saw it at home and missed the Marvels. And
yeah, I still haven't
money
watched
for those.
The most recent Captain America movie either.
Yeah, on that. I always wonder if Spielberg paid someone money to the BBFC to get those PG warning ratings put through. Yeah, because Jurassic Park got a PG. You know.
I mean, you do wonder, because Spielberg was good friends with Jack Valenti, who was the head of the MPAA for a long time here in the U.S. And I know when Temple of Doom came out and they considered the PG-13 rating here in the States, that Spielberg was one of the people that called Valenti and said, hey, there should be a rating between PG and R. So it's a real possibility.
Yeah. Because I think I've got Jurassic Park here. Jurassic Park has a special warning that it's a PG, but it could be scary to little kiddies. But yeah, it's definitely would have been. Oh, happy birthday, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, see, Sinners and Warfare. I've heard of great films, but I don't think do they.
I'm
warrant
sure they
seeing on
are.
a big screen.
I'm sure they're great. It's just
You don't know, I will get to those eventually. But obviously, Yvonne hasn't been in there. It's a tenner for the film. Yeah, it was £12 to see Mission Impossible the other day. That was, and then I didn't bother with any snacks, or I don't remember seeing the special popcorn buckets. They're trying to get you.
I always sneak in snacks.
Yeah, last of it, I took Butterkist and a can of Coke. My usual thing I've been doing since the 80s.
Yep.
Yes, Spielberg's the status literally opens doors with the MPAA as well. The power of his name.
Yep.
That's how he got all those Disney and Warner's to be together for Roger Rabbit. Yeah, it should be a $5. Yeah, it was only 20 years ago. It was like £3 Tuesdays or something.
Yeah, no, we still have $5 Tuesdays or Wednesdays around here, but they're very limited. And they're usually only in the summers now.
It's all these films for free. There you go. That does help. Yeah, cinemas are meant for the masses, so they should be cheap to attend.
There are only a handful of films that I think actually, it's not just the big screen experience, because you can never just go by yourself anymore. You know, it's always got to be with a crowd of people. There are only a few films that I think actually deserve both the big screen and the audience with them. And not a whole lot of recently have been that. I'd rather sit at home.
Yeah.
Pause it when I need to, so I can go do something else for just a minute.
Yeah. Well, I went to see Mission Impossible. It was going to come out probably on the Friday. It was open. They had a couple of showings. Well, they had a few showings a day. Was it from the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? I went on the Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday at 8:30, and it was just me and 5 other guys, all just dotted around, all single again. There was no groups. There was no couples. It was just 5 single guys.
Yeah, no. One of my favorite screening experiences, I did the original Superman the movie for one of its anniversaries pre-COVID. There was nobody in there. It was just me. So I had the entire screen to myself. It was awesome.
Nice.
And of course, I've seen that movie many, many times.
Well,
but,
exactly. Still,
it does hit differently on the big screen.
Yeah, I saw Die Hard a year and a half ago now, but
that's a good one to do on the big screen too.
Yeah, it was everyone. It was a group of, I guess everyone was. I think most people were over 30. It was quite packed out. I think Aquaman 2 opened that weekend, and I don't think it was doing as well as Die Hard.
I still have never seen the second Aquaman.
It's like all these films. It's all right. It's just
I'm sure it's fine. But other than the few notable examples, I have not been a fan of what the Snyder films did for DC. So so most of them I've either skipped or waited until I got home.
Oh dear. Superman, the movie on my birthday, was just me and the wife at midnight, and the screen broke.
Oh, man. That's a bummer. I'm sorry.
Oh, I took someone on a date to the cinema years ago, and it cost me 50 quid, including drinks and snacks, in London's Leicester Square. Yeah, I used to go to that. That's the prime cinema in London. I used to go a lot of time. I saw Terminator 2 and iRobot and all sorts in that one. But yeah, it was expensive back then. I dread to think how much it would cost now.
Yeah.
If my local Cineworld is £12 to get in and £10 for a popcorn or something.
No, when my wife and I did the re-release for Revenge of the Sith, which, you know, I do because I'm a Star Wars fan, regardless of the film. That one we did go all out on, and that was pretty expensive.
Yeah, it used to be the cinema was a cheap date movie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, young person like you wouldn't know that, but yeah.
No, but even back in the 2000s, I lived a mile down from a decent-sized megaplex, and I knew when the cheap times were, so I could go see movies.
Yeah, they don't. Do they do matinees and stuff anymore? I know they sometimes
They
make
do,
earlier
but by the
tickets.
time you factor everything in, it's almost the same.
Yeah, if you, I don't know if it's about, like in America where you have to pay to park in a multi-store, and then you have to go to the cinema, pay for the ticket, drinks, popcorn, everything.
Yeah,
Packet of sweets is like £5.
Uh-huh.
It's not a cheap date thing anymore. Oh, Brofeld's dead. Sorry about that. We missed that.
Yep. But I mean, no, I have things to say about the way Blofeld's used here, but it goes long enough. I'd rather just, I've done a review on this film. I do spend a little bit of time talking about Blofeld and why I think he's used better in this film, but I will not disagree with you guys. Him dying off screen and just kind of an ignominious end for his second film. Yeah, no, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
But I've talked with quite a few Bond fans, and I think one of the big things they want to see with this new reboot of films that Amazon's doing, because that's what they're going to do, and then start from the beginning all over again. Let's do Spectre right. Let's properly build it up. Let's do an actual revenge confrontation afterward. Let's at least get that part right.
Yeah. I do. Q's like normally got a solution for everything, but here he goes. Yep, it's Nanobots. Can't do anything about it. Yep, we're stuck with them.
And that's a huge problem to me. I think there's a way you can make me buy that, but you can't just say it in a line of dialogue and just expect me to just go with it.
Yeah, he's the guy that gets things done, and now he's just giving up before it even started.
Even the Q in the Craig films. Because, this isn't Desmond Llewellyn who has a trick for absolutely everything. Even the Q in the Craig films, I'm just like, really? One line, we're done with that?
Yeah, I know he only does a radio and a gun, but yeah.
Yeah, no, he's still a wizard at this stuff.
Yeah,
he should be able to come up with something. And if it just means that Bond spends like a month in a glass isolated prison or something like that, I think he'd be fine.
I know, yeah. I think I know. There is the risk, I know, but yeah, because it's passed from person to person to person to person.
Yep.
But it doesn't say, is it in his blood? It's on his skin? Which is
It's on his skin.
So, yeah. And then obviously, there's a way to control the nanobots to tell them what to do. And then,
sure.
So there must be a way to tell them what to do.
Well, that one, I'll give the film a little bit of that because they got to be pre-programmed with it. So maybe once they're programmed, you can't change them. Okay, I'm fine with that, but there's got to be that.
If you make a mistake,
nanobots.
If you put the wrong DNA in, you got to have a backup plan.
Yeah, tech can be destroyed externally. There's got to be a way to do this.
Yeah, because people have said, "Why does he use his EMP watch?"
And I thought that in the theater the first time. I was like, "Wait a second!
Surely they're powered by such things." But then other people said, "Well, but his earpiece doesn't blow up when he does the EMP either." In fact, I don't know what the range is on it.
Yeah, I don't understand.
But yes, they could do it like the MCU, build him up in the background properly.
That's what I'd like to see done. Let's start with hints of Spectre and then actually build up to it. Do the Blofeld thing. Do a revenge story afterwards. Something like that.
Yeah, just not related.
Yeah, don't make them related. That was something I really liked about Blofeld is Bond's arch nemesis, not because they have a personal history to start with. He's just a guy that keeps foiling his plans, and so the rivalry is built up over time.
We don't need Bond and Blofeld the college years.
Gosh, no.
Although,
no.
Sorry, no. Do you ever watch Eurospies, European films that rip off Bond films?
I've seen a couple of Italian rip-offs, including OK Connery, which I had a lot of fun with that for just how dumb that was, but just so laughably fun.
Yeah. I don't know if have you ever heard of Unmasking the Idol as we watched the other day, which is
I have heard of it.
Of 80s where he has a baboon sidekick.
Yeah, that's not that far-fetched.
It was very good, actually. It was very entertaining. But there's a sequel that we have yet to watch. This is Matilda Turdy. Hello, I'm James Bond. But yes, I think everyone's convinced it's his kid. Even he is.
Yeah,
even
no,
she says
it
it's
is.
not.
I think the idea is supposed to be she's saying I don't want you in her life, but that is such an odd way to say that.
Yes,
and like even if Bond gets it, you have to remember you are writing these for an audience. You know, you can't assume we're always going to be on the same page with you. That should have been clearer.
Yeah,
because I don't think anybody for a second, even when she said she's not yours, wasn't still thinking, nah, that's his kid.
Yeah, they go. Yeah, he goes, what about the eyes?
and you know, it's not that far-fetched of an idea. You know, Fleming had Kissy Suzuki pregnant with Bond's kid at the end of You Only Live Twice. And then they did nothing with it until Raymond Benson decided to bring him back for a short story.
Yeah. They had a picture of old M.
Yep. Because Bernard Lee has already gotten some love. Judi Dench has already gotten some love. Let's give Robert Brown.
I think there is one of him. There's like 3 M's, but one of them you only see like a hand, I think, from the angle.
I don't know if we actually see Bernard Lee there.
No.
Maybe he is there, maybe not. But like Bernard Lee's portrait is in the back of The World Is Not Enough in the Scottish headquarters. Yes. So he's been referenced. Yeah, and this scene is where we get the Safin exposition, such as it is.
Yeah. Yes, your father likes his secret rooms.
He does.
Yeah, untouched. So yeah, that apparently, product placement is like LG monitors and Dell computers. So obvious.
Well, Sony's not financing this one, so
no, that's a good point, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it financed the first 4, and then
it did the Nokia phone earlier.
Yeah.
Two Nokia phones, sorry, they have in this. But yeah, they do change the story from Spectre a bit, don't they? Because there's Quantum of Solace where Mr. White's sitting next to a woman. Everyone assumed it was his wife, but then he says his wife left. Was it in the other film here? Spectre, she says she left. But then in this, we show she got shot at the beginning. So left the world maybe, but yeah.
The sad thing is that in Hollywood, it's actually far more common just to do these films one at a time and then retcon them. Afterwards. Bond is not the only one that has this problem. Star Wars was certainly not the first one to do it. They all do it. It's only been with like more recent films like the MCU where we've actually tried to put together a plan. But even that has plenty of retcons even back in phase 1 and phase 2.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Mission Impossible? Have you seen it? I forgot to ask. No. Okay. Well,
no.
But it references. It all ties back. They've done that. I guess you heard that anyway. But yeah.
I mean, they were starting to do that with some of the other films. I know Fallout. They made a big thing towards the end of bringing back his wife in the 3rd film. Yeah,
you do need to see the first film to get a lot out of the new Mission Impossible.
I'm not going to spoil it, but there is an appearance of a character that apparently went back to the first film that I had heard about, and I'm like, I would never have thought of that, but then again, whatever. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, we won't spoil it. It's too early. We'll give it half an hour.
No, to me, you do at least 2 weeks after a film is released, and even after that, you put spoilers. After a few months, or like it's been out on home video for a while, then you're kind of okay, I think.
Yeah. When I started doing these live streams about 2 years ago now, maybe 3, we used to get the random people in the comment that would like spoil a film that had just come out. They'd say like Scream 6, Dewey dies, but 9 times, half the time they were just guessing. They were rumored that they hadn't seen the film. They were just saying Rey goes to be a Sith in Star Wars or something like this and stuff like that.
Which is just a whole bunch of theories, which ended up being true, ended up not being true, depending on
so they were just trying to spoil it for everyone.
Yeah, no, as much as I will defend various aspects of the sequel trilogy, I am completely there with you guys. No plan. Or if they had a plan, they certainly did not stick with it.
Yeah. Can you still get Nokia phones? Because I didn't know they did.
I don't know. I've had a Samsung.
Even back in then, I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember Nokia phone. I know they did that little non-smartphone at the beginning, and then Bond's got the smartphone version. But yeah, I'm guessing it's. Here we go. The old satellite images of ships coming in. Now, before we get to what are they doing in the water with the fluorescent lights on the island space?
So that area, they're apparently, it's apparently part of the manufacturing process. I don't understand it.
So yeah, they're swimming in acid. People are fishing in it.
They have suits on, but like, it completely destroys David Vincent's character when he falls into it later.
Yes. Oh yeah, here we go. I don't mind change on who you want to be the next Bond.
If I had my druthers, I would have started right at the end after No Time to Die release, and I would have had Richard Madden. He would have been my pick for the next Bond.
And what do you make about this mosquito line that she comes up with? Like, people think it's going to go somewhere to reference that'll be play off later, but it's not. It's just she got bitten by a bug.
The only thing I can figure, it's a thematic line because Safin is kind of like a mosquito in that he leeches off the blood of others and uses that. But I think of him as like more of a vampire. Like he carries death in blood. But it tends to be a little pretentious nonsense that we do here. And her particularly mentioned the mosquito when we just dealt with nanobots that deal with blood. I mean, how are we not supposed to start thinking?
Yeah. Do mosquitoes have friends? But yeah. And then here they come. So yeah, I think this was filmed in Scotland, this bit.
Sounds about right.
I think, yeah, some of it's Norway, some of it's Scotland, depending on what they do. I think the woodlands, yeah. Then I think this, when it's in the woods and the fog, I think it's Scotland. But yeah, you got another car. Because I think the bad guys had Jaguars earlier, didn't they, in Italy streets. Couldn't see what... oh yeah, they've all got Range Rovers now.
Yep. This is another action scene that I like, particularly when they move into the forest.
Yeah. And apparently it's all real cars crashing, which is the one thing they want to do, because they know people get very upset by CGI cars crashing.
Yep.
But yeah, find that right.
There is something to be said for doing these things for real, and I always appreciate when they do that. But I also understand that sometimes budgetary concerns come in. But even with Bond, that is a very expensive franchise. Even then, they don't always do everything for real. They do enough that I give them a pass for when they decide not to do it. Yeah,
it's like the Mission Impossible franchise has been real stunts, but then if you see the end credit to the latest one, the amount of, I think someone said it's got more CGI shots in it than Avatar, because they have the background replacement and all this. There are a lot of stunts going on, but it's just they put it in a different location and stuff like that.
I don't want whole sequences out of CGI, even in science fiction films. I'd still like there to be something tactile, something there for the actors to work with.
Yeah. Like that shot with the helicopter just drops into shot. That probably took a lot of effort for just a quick shot where they could have just CGI'd it. But if it is real, it looked real. But yeah, it's hard. Sometimes it is hard to tell because it is good. Let's off-road.
Well, Dr. Impossible, I think maybe the idea behind that with the no mask, the no mask in Japanese drama is supposed to be expressionless. You can read whatever you want into it. And I think if we were doing an artistic film, that might actually be interesting. But even though the Craig films start to do a little bit more artsy-fartsy things, you still need something tangible, at least something succinct around him. And I absolutely agree. It's just Malik in this film, he's nothing to me. I've seen him in plenty of other things and liked him in those. He did, what was it, Mr. Robot?
Yeah, I never got into that. I saw a few episodes, but I never.
I thought he did
carried
fine
on.
there. And of course, he
he was
obviously did the Freddie Mercury biopic, Bohemian Rhapsody. I like that fine.
Hmm.
And that's coming from somebody that hates music biopics. Because they're all the same story.
Well, yeah. There's something bad. There's always drugs in it.
There's always drugs. There's always a hitting the low point.
Yeah.
Always
And then come
girlfriends
back.
leaving.
And then they come back clean and they're rubbish. But,
But like, you know, they do it in Walk the Line. They
Walk
do
the
it
Line.
in Ray.
Ray, yeah.
They do it in a bunch.
Vodka martini, shaken not stirred. Do you ever partake of a vodka martini when out and about in the town? No.
No, I don't drink.
Because
I'm always the driver for my wife. I wouldn't do it anyway.
yeah, it wouldn't be the same. Non-alcoholic vodka is not quite the same.
No, I've had a couple of virgin drinks, but just it's never done anything for me.
Yeah, they are, because there's a reason there's only a tiny amount of liquid in it because they are so strong.
Mm-hmm.
I think 6 of them would probably kill me if I had them. You know,
And I mean, a vodka martini. I thought the whole idea of that is like he explains it in the book that he doesn't like to drink a lot, but when he does, he wants one strong drink.
right? Yeah, that'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is great use of guns and rocket launchers. Oh.
No, this strikes me as a very John Glenn kind of action scene where it's not gadget based; it's just Bond and his wits by himself,
executing people
mm-hmm.
trapped in a car. Or then,
which I love that bit coming up.
Yeah. Takes this poor motorcyclist out, who's just out on a trip around the woods. How does he know these are all bad guys?
Yeah.
Kills a family of 4 and another Range Rover that comes in.
Josh, I agree with you. Weird Al was great.
Yes, that one worked.
With Radcliffe. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah. Oh, there he's down. He still shoots him. Poor man.
And this is exactly the end I want for this character. You know, something brutal.
He can't shoot straight. Bond just ignores him. He's shooting at him. Run him over. Bump. I'm not 100% sure. There's something off about the car flip because it's either not Craig or they're 2 separate plates or something. But because it would be very risky to do that stunt with someone stand there.
Right.
So either the car is controlled in some manner.
Absolutely.
Over, and they just edited out all the wires and stuff. Uh-oh. Just, I got no bullets. Oh, there you go. I had a brother.
Yeah. Very, you only live for your eyes only.
Yeah. Yeah. Heave.
He had no head for heights.
I don't know. Did he? Because it rolls, but it rolls past him, so.
Yep.
He might just crushed his legs.
I'm pretty sure it smashed at least his sternum. He's going to be living out of a tube for a while.
Come back as an android legs. How would you rate the Craig Bond films?
Well, I don't know about Greg, but Craig. Casino Royale is my number 1 film. Matched closely only by GoldenEye and From Russia with Love. None of the other films are in my top 10. Skyfall gets close. No Time to Die on entertainment value is up there for me. Quantum is sitting in that I have to be in the right mood to enjoy it film. And then Spectre, it's between that, A View to a Kill, and Never Say Never Again as to which one's my least favorite. And A View to a Kill started to climb up a little bit, but even then, it's not one of my favorites. So it's literally Spectre, Never Say Never Again. Which one do I dislike the most? It's probably the one I've seen the most recently because its pain is the freshest.
Yeah. So there's another Aston Martin here, just in case we were missing them. So yeah, I was just looking. Yeah, so Die Another Day is the only other non-Craig Bond film this millennium. There you go.
Yeah.
So we've had.
They also need to start fixing that. I don't like waiting 4 or 5 years for the next film. I think 2 to 3 is about your optimal,
Yes.
and 2 might be a little fast.
Well, yeah, it was one a year in the 70s, wasn't it? So,
In the 60s, they started off one a year, and then from most of the 60s and the 80s, most of the 70s and the 80s, it was about once every couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah. So the biggest gap was the 89 to, was it 95?
Yeah, 89 to 95, License to Kill with GoldenEye. Although this is shaping up to be pretty close.
Yeah, not even an announcement yet.
Yeah, they haven't even had an announcement. So the earliest we would get it would be end of 2026, and that's if they announce something tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe knock out a quick $50 million one.
Yeah,
just a thriller set in London down a street or something.
Yeah, no, 2 every year. 2 every couple of 1 every couple of years, I think might be a little fast because whenever they've done that, they've started to feel a little routine, get a little bit by the numbers. I still enjoy those, but like, look what Roger Moore did after Spy. It was Moonraker, For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, View to a Kill. Some of those were great, some of them not so much. Brosnan had the same problem. We had GoldenEye, great. Tomorrow Never Dies, World's Not Enough. I enjoy those, but it's starting to get a little routine. And then, Quantum, that was unfortunate because that was also smack dab in the middle of a writer's strike.
Yeah.
Which really didn't help.
Yeah. They got the script in, what was it, 2 hours or something before the end?
Yeah. He got it in 2 hours before, Paul Haggis got it in 2 hours before the strike started, but they knew that was coming, that the writer's strike was coming. So I'm just like, okay, I understand that like you want to get a move on in the thing, but like, starting without a finished script, that has been done and made good films in the past. It's generally something you don't want to do.
Yeah, it's stupid, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Citizen Kane started without a finished script. Casablanca started without a finished script. There are good films. This is Spinal Tap, I know, was another one without a finished script. You can do it. It's very, very risky.
Things coming in, right. Bond should go back to the 60s or 70s, or a 70s one. I know they keep saying taking back to maybe the 50s, but
yeah, no, I'm not in favor of that.
Wouldn't have any diversity in it.
Well, my problem with it is a couple of fold because like when people want to go back to the 50s and 60s, they want to readapt the Fleming books, which some of them I understand where you're coming from. They could use a good adaptation, but at the same time, like when you get to From Russia with Love, when you get to Majesty's Secret Service, those were already done very, very well and pretty faithfully. That like you'd just be remaking those films, and I don't like that idea. But there's also a built-in admission that Bond, that like if you go back to the 50s and 60s, you're seeming to put forth the idea that Bond only works at a certain time, and I don't particularly agree with that because otherwise we wouldn't have these legions of fans of us that got into Bond way afterwards through a different actor. And one of the things I always admire about the series is its ability to adapt. Casino Royale does not feel like a period film. It feels like a film that was made in 2006 and was very timely. GoldenEye had the same thing and so on. So I'd still go with it if they went back to the 50s or the 60s. It's not the direction I would want to see.
Yeah. They can definitely come up with something from the news that would give them an idea of modern times or future problems. Because, was it Rambo 4? He said, Stern said, what's the worst place in the world at the moment? And then, it was Burma.
Yeah.
So he made a film about Rambo in Burma.
I mean, Bond scripts usually start with something like that, too. They'll say, like, what's current or what's going to be a problem in the next few years. And they try writing around that because, Golden Gun was written during an energy crisis. So that makes sense to do that. World's Not Enough was just when we were about to do terrorism. And so that's a big thing. Die Another Day also has vestiges of that too.
Yeah, I got Tomorrow Never Dies. The media causing trouble.
GoldenEye with the end of the Cold War. License to Kill and Living Daylight.
Druggies.
Yep, it's all there.
I did expect this garden to have a bit more to do than just people playing in the sand, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought if something was going to happen. I know that's where the climax is for the fight, but yeah. I was expecting the...
Yeah, You Only Live Twice.
Big plant or something.
Yeah, no, You Only Live Twice, the book, does have the final fight between Bonn and Blofeld in the Poison Garden, I believe.
Ah. What do you make of this set?
I really like this location. It's one of my favorite villain layers. It's the only one of the Craig films that I think had a proper villain's lair that was great.
Yeah. Because it even has the opening of the circle of the water.
It has grand open spaces that serve no practical purpose. So it's got the Ken Adam influence in there. It's partly based on a real location, so it's got the Peter Lamont influence there. Like, it's a blend of a bunch of different things, and then it pulls from Fleming. So it's a great amalgamation of a lot of things. It's not my favorite, but it's my favorite from Craig.
Yeah, it's been lacking some bases.
They've been lacking some good proper bases. Sorry, an isolated island that's run down for Silva, that's not enough for me.
No, that wasn't even. Yeah, he invaded it, got everyone out, and then it wasn't exactly living at large, was he?
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I do like, we saw it earlier on the plane, Q had those drawers of guns, weapons, and then teacups and plates. Now, were they explosive teacups and plates, or
I wondered that. Like, was Q just going to sit there and drink tea the whole time? Is that a gadget?
It's hard to tell with him.
You never know.
Yeah. Oh, Rob's here. Top 3 Bond films.
This I want to know.
I can't remember what they were. I think, in no particular order, I think off the top of my head, because I never planned it. I think Casino Royale. Then there was going to be Goldfinger.
Goldfinger's a great one.
Watch that every Christmas.
It's a good one.
And then it's going to be one of the more ones, but then which one?
Spy Who Loved Me.
View to a Kill.
No, that's okay. You can like View to a Kill all you want.
I do love View to a Kill, but not because it's a great Bond film. But yeah. I like The Man with the Golden Gun as well.
Script, and View to a Kill has some fun performances.
But yeah, it would be the Spy Who Loved Me.
It's another great one.
But yeah, I love the Bond. Because yeah, I grew up with the Moors, so of course that's my level. I think it's good. John Glenn signed sleeve, bless it. But yeah, she looks as exciting. I can't recall a better looking Bond film. License to Thrill, says the Daily Mail. So there you go. No?
Well, the Daily Mail says that.
Yeah, the Daily Mail. And then we got, what more could any Bond fan want? The Guardian. Packed with action, 007 turns out to be as indestructible as ever. The Daily Star.
At 57, yes, he is.
Spectacular. That's the only word they got from the Daily Mirror. There you go. The reviews have it.
There's a DVD that I have of Quantum of Solace. It's like a 2-disc special edition one, and the blurb on the back says "the perfect Bond film."
I think I might have that one.
And I'm like, look, even when I really liked the film, I'd never thought that.
Oh, it kicks the living daylights out of any rival action hero films. That's not on my one. I guess
is great.
The English ones have the English papers, I guess. Reviews. No Time to Die says 5 stars, the best of 007. That was the Times.
Debatable.
Skyfall, it's the best Bond film ever. By the
See what I
Mail
mean?
on Sunday. Spectre is spectacular. 5 stars, The Guardian. Casino Royale, the best Bond for decades, says the Daily Telegraph. There you go. All great Bond films. To someone. Yeah,
Yeah. We're all very worried because this is just unprecedented. It could go very well. It could fall flat in the face.
Yeah. Do you think they're actually going around talking to people and at the moment? Negotiations.
The Broccolis always waited until they got a script because most actors don't want to sign on for multiple films until they at least get one script to go with. They could be doing that, or they could just say, hey, look, you're going to be in 5 Bond films. Why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we're all very worried because this is the first time a major corporation has taken over this franchise. And, you know, it's not exactly like corporations have the greatest track record of handling these things.
Do you think a TV series is an option? Bond, James Bond TV show, 6 episodes, an hour each.
Oh, I think that's very much on the table.
So what's in these files?
Yeah. I can't tell if those are lights or vials.
Yeah, it seems to suggest they're storage for something. But yeah, it never tells you. Yeah, there you go. Because, yeah, that was mentioned on one of the rumors I had.
Yeah. Alfonso Cuarón has been thought and sought back since The World's Not Enough. He almost did that one. So he has already been on the producers' minds, and I think he'd be a great pick for the next one. Nolan can absolutely do a killer Bond film. That's not for debate for me, particularly because Inception is his tribute to a Bond film. The problem with Nolan is that I don't think Nolan knows how to make a film that isn't a Nolan film. Like, it would have his identity all over it. And I'm not sure if I'm ready to see a Nolan Bond film. I want to see a Bond film done by Nolan, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, Cuarón, what's he do? Children of Men, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I also loved Gravity. You know,
Prisoner of Azkaban, he can do
Potter film. He's done great stuff.
He's not one genre, is he? There's no need for violence. Yeah,
that's true. Because he's working on the Odyssey right now, which I think that's a great pick for him. Love to see him do a Sandals and epic.
Yeah. Miss Plenty Adventures, the series no one wants to see. I thought, because
I'm told the books are good.
I've never seen them anywhere. I've never been looking. Well,
here in America, you're very lucky to see a lot of the Bond stuff. So
okay.
You see, the thing about that is that there are far too many American superheroes that are played by British people. Because of course you had Cavill for Superman.
Yeah.
For Batman, you've had at least 2 British people. With Christian Bale and Pattinson.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, you had Garfield and Holland, both British.
I guess. Yeah. Well, Wolverine was an Australian.
Supposed to be Canadian.
Yes. Same thing.
That's what I mean. It's just like, except in the case of James Bond, they don't actually tend to stick with a nationality that makes sense.
Yeah, it's John Hamm. Because he played Fletch last, so could he be Bond? Not too old, no. I don't know if he can do the action
at this point. I love John Hamm. I've seen him in a bunch of things.
He's got the charm.
Oh yeah, he could do it. That's not the question. Should he do it? Nah.
Mr. Jensen's back. Anyway, I had a great ending for Grace Bond. He ends up as a bad guy beside Al Pacino's Dr. No. Hoo-ha!
Now, that'd be a film for Craig to go out on.
So, yeah. Madeline, whatever her name is, saves herself.
which is something I really like. Spy
She
Who
did
Loved
me.
Me, one of my problems with it is that Anya doesn't do any of the legwork to save herself.
Yeah, she's supposed to be
she reverts back into damsel in distress territory, which is such a shame for that character. Madeline doesn't fully rescue herself, but she does some of the work, and I do like that.
I don't know if that's how the pros do it, where he undoes the clip, the strap instead of taking it over his head. I guess.
Yeah,
Makes sense to take the strap off.
whatever.
I don't know why he chucks his pillow and they all know to shoot at it.
So they're quick on the draw with that, but when Bond,
Yeah, he
does
gets
his one
there's
thing,
4 of them, and he still gets.
he still gets all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, Martin Campbell might be too old now to do a massive film.
Nah, maybe. I mean, Cecil B. DeMille did his best film in his 70s, so
Yeah, Martin Campbell just did that cleaner film, The Die Hard in a London
yeah,
Tower.
with Daisy Ridley, which I haven't seen. I'm told it's not very good, but
Yeah,
I'd like to see it still.
I would like to see it. So, but yeah, she doesn't even get in the building until the last half hour, I've heard, because she's the cleaning window, and she spends the first hour outside the building on the cleaning tower. So,
Yeah.
she doesn't
And
get much
I
action
like
in it.
Daisy Ridley in general. I think she's a fine actress.
I don't mind it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, because they're going to be in it 15, 20 years at this rate.
Yeah, that's one of my big problems. I know Tom Holland apparently pitched a very young Bond to Sony, and they weren't going to go with it. My biggest problem is that if you're going to be a 00 agent, that cannot be something you get to like Kirk at the end of the first reboot. You don't just go from ensign to captain. I'm not really okay with that there, but I understand why they did that there. But for Bond, if you're a 00 agent, you are very experienced. You are already a professional. You've got to be at least in your 30s to start off, or believably in your 30s.
It's commander above captain. I don't know what the Navy is.
I have no idea. But yeah, he spent some time in the Navy. I imagine he does a bunch of different ops as an MI6 operative before he gets to 00 status.
Oh yeah, there you go. The favorite is Aaron Taylor Johnson at the moment. He's young and in great shape. That is true. Craven.
I'm
Showed
indifferent.
he can do the action.
I'm indifferent to Aaron Taylor Johnson. I haven't loved him in anything, but he's also not been my least favorite pick.
Yeah, I can. Oh, he's never screamed. That should be James Bond to me, but yeah.
No, but then again, nobody had Craig on their radar to begin with.
No.
And I became a Bond fan about 2 years before Casino Royale, so I definitely remember the hoopla with Craig. My thought was it was going to be Clive Owen back in the day. He seemed like the big favorite.
Yeah. He was the Dalton-esquest one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Because I'd seen Layer Cake before I saw him up for Bond.
I had only
good luck.
Yeah, that I had only seen the first Tomb Raider with
Oh yeah, of course I've seen that as well, yes.
So when Craig was announced, I went out and grabbed a couple of films of his. Road to Perdition was one I fell asleep during that one. But I did see Layer Cake when I was 12. And he didn't strike me as traditional Bond, but I thought he was an interesting enough actor. And I just kind of figured, the producers kind of knew what they were doing with it. I played it wait and see, but I wasn't sold until the first 5 minutes of Casino Royale.
Yeah, because he's been acting since the early 90s. He was the Power one in 92, was his first one. Of course, I've seen him in Sharp. You ever seen the TV show Sharp with Sean Bean? Yeah, he was in that. Young Indiana Jones. I remember.
Which I saw him in that.
So yeah, a lot of British stuff in there. Tales of the Crypt episode. I don't remember. But yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Our Friends
in Pieces,
the big one he did.
But yeah, the biggest films with him as the main part was before. Oh, of course, he's in Munich. Layer Cake, 2004. Where is it? Enduring Love. That's the one. Which is has a nasty fall in it, but yeah, with a stalker, Reese Evans. Yeah, what's he doing, bowing to Dr. No? Because yeah, one of his people does call him Doctor when he is.
He does, and that never goes anywhere.
No, I guess he's a Doctor of Botany or something. Not knows.
It just speaks to me that like I'm not sure if they had a solid idea for who this character was, it's not communicated to us.
Too broody for Bond, says Rob. It was Craig.
Bond's a broody, mopey son of a gun in the Fleming books. I was fine with that. That's not my preferred Bond, but I'm fine with it. That's why I said towards the beginning, I call it the Craig experiment. Because that's what it is. They wanted to do something different. Before I understand, as an artist, you do that, and we got some mileage out of it. It's not my traditional Bond that I want. It's not the one I want going forward, but I'm fine with experimenting every so often.
Short-haired blonde.
Because it's with those experimentations that you find things that you really like. I mean, take a look at what happened to Batman. We tried many different flavors over the years, some of which really didn't work, some of which absolutely killer.
Yeah, I think everyone picks Contessa, don't they?
Tracy or Vesper are the top two for just about everybody, and they're my top two. I go with Vesper just because, as much as I like Tracy as a character, Eva Green's chemistry with Craig really works in that film for me.
Yeah.
It's a little over the edge.
Yeah, what's he doing?
I mean, Tracy is absolutely up there.
Yeah. So yeah, Dr. Safin or whatever his name is, always just lets the girl go. Say, yeah, go on, fuck off, run off.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's just that doesn't make sense to me.
No, it just says, oh, he made all this effort. I guess she thinks she can't get off the island. She could go into the poison area or the acid bath, but yeah. Doesn't seem to bother him where she buggers off to get foo-foo.
Dr. Impossible, no, you do not want to touch the water from where I am. There's a lot of minerals in it.
Oh, bless her. Oh, yeah. Time to Die.
They were so close. They were so close to getting the actual title.
He starts fizzing, and then they abandon ship. Like it's taking this long for them to think. Hang on.
Well, they got a shootout coming, but like, okay.
Do you know what time it is? This is pointless. This is Sparta. This is Time to Die.
Yep.
But yeah, that is heavy acid. Yes, by Gorbachev. We knew so. Hardly knew you. What do you make about him controlling the doors when Q says it's a bit complicated? You have to do it in a very specific order. And he just goes boom, 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 boom.
That's hilarious to me. But that also plays back into elements of classic Bond because Roger Moore has this encyclopedic knowledge of absolutely everything. Sure, fine, whatever.
Terry, yeah, diamonds, yeah.
My favorite example, though, is in Man with the Golden Gun, where like he's confused enough about the name Scaramanga, and then after like 3 seconds, he goes into reading the entire dossier. Really?
Photographic memory as well. Ah, yes, Brosnan and Natalia.
Yep. That's another good one.
Who's going to say no to that one?
Yeah.
So yeah, people have said. Sorry.
No, okay. I'm actually working. My next film review that I'm doing is a Brosnan 90s film, so I'm excited to delve back into that territory.
Oh, what do you make of this? The circle tunnels where there's a long shot and he turns around to the camera and shoots at something.
I like the fun gun barrel nod. I think that's cool.
Oh, there she is. Now, what do you also make about the people complain that Nomi takes his family off the island while he goes and saves the day?
No, I agree. That just within the story of the film, there's no reason that Nomi couldn't be the one doing it. And I mean, she's the actual. I know Craig's also a licensed agent at this point, but like Nomi is a 00 operative. There's no reason that she had to be the one to take them out. I mean, obviously hindsight's 2020, but like that shouldn't have to be Bond.
No. I guess because Safin's the only person left right at the end after he's wiped out everyone. Or there are more. I can't remember which way around it is now. I didn't saw it the other day.
The base is big enough. I could believe there's other people there, but
I guess if she did stay and fight, would Dr. No just blast her with the nanobots so she couldn't go and then give her the choice of what to do?
00 agents die in the line of duty all the time.
Normally dressed as clowns, but
yes,
or on a training mission to Gibraltar.
Yep. Or up in the snowy mountains somewhere with a locket. Yep.
Don't go rogue. They're all untrustworthy.
In a cabaret club with a belly dancer called Saeed.
Yes.
That's what I mean. Like 00 agents die all the time.
I've still been trying to work out how you get shot, and then
it comes.
Now, did it stick in a belly button after it went through?
No,
or did she just use it as a symbol.
She describes it. It went through his neck into the wall, and she took it out and has been dancing with it ever since. Because that sounds like very healthy behavior.
Yeah, it's a lucky charm or something, wasn't it? Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I do have a soft spot for Tomorrow Never Dies and The World's Not Enough, but
yeah,
GoldenEye is my favorite.
Oh, he's looking forward to that. Yeah, they do get worse. He deserved better.
Yeah, and I always feel bad because like a lot of people, their first Bond film is usually one of their favorites. My very first Bond film was Die Another Day, and I can tell you that is not one of my favorites.
Surely it's... I don't know. Yeah, it couldn't be.
No.
Fire on my mark. There's another problem. So yeah, we got the buyers turning up in their boats. We got, was it the Chinese or the Russians and their boats?
There's the Japanese and the Russians that are breathing down their necks because this is in disputed waters. You got the buyers coming in. Once you set the missiles off, apparently you can't abort them in the air. Like there are so many contrivances to make this work.
Well, exactly, yeah. Although that was in Tomorrow Never Dies, they couldn't stop that bomb. That was
and that one made no sense to me too because that one was literally like less than a minute from launching, and suddenly it's out of range.
Yep.
No, I absolutely agree. As much as I do like this film, there are so many contrivances to make this ending work.
Yeah. There's the gun barrel. Yeah. So, do you think it would be better if it was a happy ending and you went off to have a family, or is it best kill him off? Then he definitely can't come back. Full stop. Or even though you do see him killed, people still say, "Well, he might come back," as Daniel Craig's Bond.
I'm fine with Bond dying in the line of duty, or at least this Bond.
Yeah,
I want to make that very clear. If we were doing Sean Connery or Pierce Brosnan, no, those are not the kinds of Bonds you kill off. Daniel Craig, where it's marked with character progression, emotional depth. Yeah, no, I'm fine with him dying. It's the way he dies, I think, is the problem.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I would have gone entirely for a happy ending, but I don't know if I would have hated that either.
Well, they tried that with Spectre, I guess. It was supposed to hint that you quit and it got off with Madeline.
Yeah, and ask people how they feel about that ending.
And then you got this bit. It's supposed to be one shot, but I guess
it's cut together.
There was a cut
but I'm still impressed with it.
Yeah, it's very good. He wanted Craig wanted one big
feels,
fight.
It feels seamless, which is
Yeah.
pretty great.
People complain it's too gun heavy though for a Bond fight. And you're going all the way up here shooting everyone. But obviously,
I grew up with Brosnan.
yeah, but there's two machine guns
all over the place. Fine. and you know, Connery occasionally had a machine gun. Moore certainly had machine guns. Lazenby had machine guns. So like, I'm not seeing the problem here.
Yeah. Do you think Craig had too much power as the actor, or what he would and wouldn't do? He had a lot of stipulations of stuff.
I do think there was that little bit of I want to have something to do here. Connery had the same problem, but they never gave it to him. But Connery very much wanted the freedom that Craig had here to get to decide what to do. I'm much more of the fan of Moore and Brosnan, where they're happy to be working and they love the role. But even Brosnan had a say on some of the things in his films.
Yeah.
I do think there was a case here where Craig was thinking about this as an actor, about what he'd like to get to play. He's the first to admit that he's not a writer. So he doesn't necessarily have that fully in mind. Yeah. I think there's a number of things you could point to as to exactly what went wrong here, and that's possibly one of them.
Yeah. Sounds like you're a rugby scrum. Joshua's first was Die Another Day as well.
See?
The
first one you see is not always going to be your favorite.
God Knows hard film to follow. Tomorrow is somewhat daft at the beginning. I don't mind it too much. Arnold pushes the John Barry orchestral buttons up to 100%.
That he does. GoldenEye, a hard film to follow. I've never had an issue with that. I wonder what was your issues with it, but you know, I will concede I've also seen that film a bunch of times. Maybe I just know it too well.
I already got into Bond thanks to my mum insisting I watch it when it was on TV. I remember she had to explain for a good while. Lazenby was Bond. Yeah, this man's Bond. Yeah, this man's also Bond. But yeah, this one's Bond as well.
Again, as a kid, I grew up with Adam West Batman, which they had already done Michael Keaton by the time. So I understood that, you know, the same character could be played by a bunch of different people, done it differently. That was never a concept that bothered me. But when I talked to other Bond fans where they were like, yeah, no, I was really confused because suddenly Roger plays it differently to Sean. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, Primo got his mind blown.
Yeah. That feels like a Roger Moore quip.
It does, doesn't it? Bond says fire. Admiral.
And see, I don't buy why they have to do it right this second. Because I know the buyers are coming.
The buyers are coming.
But the buyers still have to get onto the island, transfer the virus over, and even then, the virus has to be programmed. That takes time. I don't buy that, like, we only have 9 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, the bar, there are several ways out, I guess, yeah. But we have to go.
That's what I mean. It's just like there are so many artificial roadblocks. Like if anybody tries to bring up an idea, the film just kind of slaps it down and says, no, it has to be this. But it doesn't do it in a clever way. It just does it as we cover our basis by just having a line of dialogue that just covers that possibility. And you just kind of have to accept the movie at its word. And I mean, I can do that with some of them. This one, there are way too many.
Yeah.
They're overcompensating to make it seem like this has to be the way Bond goes out. And my biggest problem with this is that it's not a Bond victoriously going out or anything like that. He is defeated. There is no way out. Yep. So it's not Bond nobly going to his death. It's Bond resigning himself to death, which to me feels wrong.
Yeah, oh yeah. And then this bit where he comes running through the garden to go somewhere and then just taken out with shot several times.
Third time Bond's actually been directly shot in the films.
Mm.
That was a question on your trivia quiz.
Yes. I think it covered what dates it covered, but yeah. And then it breaks. Nasty just little break of the arm here.
Real Fifth Beatle, the film is 2 hours, 43 minutes, and 24 minutes and 24 seconds. That is how long it is, including credits. But hey, I've sat through 4-hour Snyder Cut a couple of times.
Yeah, I've seen that.
One of my very favorite films is The Ten Commandments, which is like 3.5 hours, maybe more. I don't have a problem with longer films if they justify it.
If they justify, yes.
And very few films recently have done that. And No Time to Die, unfortunately, does not justify its length.
Yeah. So because Mission Impossible 8 or whatever it is 2 hours 45 minutes.
So now you convince me I have to wait until I get home to watch that.
Plus, it was half an hour adverts and trailers, then the film. Yeah, the Snyder Cut does feel shorter than this.
I don't know. The Snyder Cut's got so many drawn out slow-mo.
It does have everything thrown in. I think he still said there was stuff they didn't put in. So
exactly, Snyder does not know how to tell a cohesive story in under 2 hours, and I think that's his biggest problem.
Oh yeah. Damn, what's that? All-girl mental institution one. Yeah, that's going nowhere.
Yeah,
there's no sense to that one. It's a search for sure. Could you see a Bond film coming out, say, 85 minutes?
Quantum of Solace did 1 hour and 40 minutes, and people still felt that was too condensed. And that's a hard film to follow.
Yeah. I feel like how when he shuts the bombs, the pool fills up again. You know, when it showed it emptying of all the gravel and stuff as well when it emptied. But, thanks. And Bond's really bleeding here, so there's no one coming to save him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mr. Genji likes like a bunch. If you like, it's only good for the ladies.
So I just thought about this. So he opens the shutters, which opens that center square, right? So that means Safin's body goes down into the acid and just gets burned up.
Ah.
It's actually really nice.
Yeah. They don't show that, do they? I don't. So. All right, get your tissues ready. If
you're emotionally moved, this is one where half the time it works for me just because, it's Craig's Bond. It's a Bond I've really liked, and this is kind of a sad way for him to go. But at the same time, it just feels so contrived.
Yeah, I must admit I was a bit teary-eyed the first time I saw it because it was not expected to see Bond. I didn't think I'd see Bond die, but yeah.
And I mean, I'm a guy that tears up at a bunch of films. I'm sorry. That's what I am. I'll still tear up at Titanic.
It's all right, Q. It's all right. Do something, Q. Can you put Madeline on?
The acting between these two, I think, is really solid for this last bit. They're doing their darndest to sell this.
Where are you?
Yeah, he says, I'm not going to make it. That gets me.
It should have saved him. Yeah, exactly. Pierce comes in.
Kite windsurfing in to see him.
I think there wasn't any waves earlier. Rented out $14.92 and over 2 days. Yeah, there you go.
Ooh.
You want to see the John Glenn Christopher Columbus? That's a bit shorter.
Yeah.
Just get off the island, Bond. Go for a swim and wash off.
Sure.
Oh, I was offended and angry. I think at Bond's death, that must be.
Nah, I don't take those things that personally. Especially because, like, at the very end, I waited through the end credits and it says James Bond will return. I was like, okay, this isn't going to be the very, very last one. This isn't the final word on it. This is just how Craig's Bond goes. Okay, I can live with that.
There you
go. Okay, that I believe. because there's a couple of things in Die Another Day that do make me scratch my head. GoldenEye, I think, is a very simple film to follow.
You've been poisoned. See, she says poison, but yeah. I guess.
Yeah, poison, nanobot virus, yeah.
There must be a way. Yeah. I think if he didn't have the kid in the thing, he might have tried. Maybe, but yeah. Mr. Tensy's going to cry now, just on the little screen picture. There you go.
No, own it.
GoldenEye.
I think there's too much reserved emotions when watching Bond films.
No, I will have a stiff upper lip on this one.
It's okay. I just joke about that because, there's some Bonds you can kill their mother and they wouldn't do anything.
I think you should have come off the island and watched the kid dissolve. And he goes, "Oh no, what have I done?"
Whoops.
And that double-taking seagull.
The double-taking pigeon rests his head. Moment of silence.
And the double-taking wine man and whoever else is.
Yeah, I want to see the double-taking wine man at this point.
Bond's dead and looks at a bottle of wine.
Wait, what? What film am I watching?
I know. Yeah, what is he going to do otherwise? Fucking missiles coming at him. Boom, boom, boom. No, I think if you frame by frame it, you see him dive into the...
He dives into the water.
Closing thing. Then he blow up one of the places, you see. It was just, he got out of it.
No, I'm fine with Craig's Bond dying. It's fine. I just don't like the manner he dies.
Yeah. Poor Q looking his vitals.
Yeah. And it's Zero. He's dead.
Just in case.
But one thing I do like is that once they kill off Bond, there's only 2 scenes left. Like, they get done very quickly. They don't draw it out like Return of the King.
I do wish we'd see some restaurateur saying, "It's Mr. Bond is 10 minutes late."
Jealous husbands, humiliated tailors. Just have a whole montage.
Yeah, Tom Ford looking upset.
My best male model.
Ben-Hur. A Ben-Hur watch party. That might be a stretch.
Ben-Hur's a good movie, but I got to do that in a couple of settings.
I'll do the remake.
Oh, gosh. Why? Oh, don't do that.
Yeah, Corey would have found a jetpack somewhere and left the kid to rot.
Probably.
Yeah. I shall use my time. Another M doing poetry, just like in Skyfall.
Yeah, and it's specifically Jack London, which was done in Fleming, which was great.
Yeah.
It's a great nod.
What are we drinking? To James.
And then they go back to work. That feels appropriate for MI6.
Yeah. Who's now? What's on the next case?
Yeah. No, Bond shouldn't get a National Day of Mourning or anything like that. It should just be a small thing.
It's only saved the world
with some tailors and jealous husbands.
Well, yes, he was. He only wanted married women in the first one, didn't he? So, there's the. So, has she gone back to Italy, or is this supposed to be somewhere else?
I think the idea is she goes back to Italy, but I'm not sure.
She suggests the same color palette and roads.
Yeah, she could be back in Norway. I don't know.
Well, exactly. I guess it's golden hour. Yeah, I want to tell you about your dad. He was banging Vesper. Then
He was banging a bunch of people.
He killed a lot of people.
Mhm.
Then we got the
He
tunnel.
banged a girl named Strawberry Fields for one time. I don't know what that was about.
Sorry, she died the next night. We have all the time in the world. Yeah,
I think this point is too much.
It
Having
is.
Louis Armstrong. Nah. Love
Yeah.
the song.
Yes, it's a lovely song, but yeah. Oh, the precious thing. So yeah, if you look at the stunt performers list that's going streaming through there now,
It's
there's
so...
Mooney Moona. But yeah, there is a lot of stunt people all over the world tonight. But yeah, and then we get, how long is this? 7 minutes of credits with tax accountant, cost accountant, location accountant, first assistant accountant, department accountants, assistant accountants, cashiers, accountants, coordinator, anyone that got paid.
And they have a credit here, second unit gaffer, which I'm just thinking of a guy that just lays gaff tape for the whole production.
Got to secure that scaffolding somehow. Video playback. Grip trainees are even involved here. Second unit gaffer, there he is, Toby Tyler.
And animatics and all of this stuff.
Yeah, only got to special effects, yeah. LCD screen services. Desk operator trainee. Although it would be cool to get your name in at bottom credits, just a trainee. Animatics, greens services, greens standbys. But yeah, if you see the making of all the money is on screen.
Yeah. I mean, this was... it's pretty close to Spectre in terms of like how much they spent on these, but you look at their credits and you're like, man, yeah, that's a lot of money going to all these places.
Oh, there you go. Is James Bond his birth name?
Yes. It is not a code name.
Bond's parents and the young pre-30 Bond.
Nah.
I don't know. Toby, it's not. Which one is it? No, Tom Holland could be James Bond Jr.
We've already had an animated series covering that. That's a bad idea.
Because what is he? It's his nephew.
It's his nephew in that one.
Q's. Is it Q's nephew or Q's? What's relation to Q?
I think it's his grandson in that.
Like that. Oh yeah, because it's based on the films, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I read some interviews from the people behind those, and they were working under some strict guidelines. Like they could not have James Bond actually in the show, and it wasn't like the only notable thing about it was that it was James Bond finally doing something. It was one of so many shows they were doing at that time. I don't think any of them had any particular attachment to it.
Yeah. Only love. Still going. So Industrial Light and Magic from Lucasfilm did some of the effects work.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, the codename thing is annoying. Yeah, it
is. It is really annoying. But it comes up every so often.
Yeah, they see something in one of the films that suggests it's just a name.
I think there are far too many holes in the codename theory.
Ice Consultant and Ice Work. So yeah, apparently when they had that frozen beginning, the frozen lake was a proper frozen lake, and they had to do something to make it exactly really frozen, so it could be safe to walk on by. They could say you could take like an 8-ton tractor on it, and it'd be fine. So they had to. I don't know if they put a special liquid or make it.
I don't know, because they also have like the bullet impacts.
I don't know if that was digital, but or
I don't know.
But yeah, they had to be careful. Maybe they did it right at the end when they've done all the rest. Then it wouldn't matter if they broke the ice. Thank you. Yes, I'm here all night. Any requests for Bond themes, except writing on the wall?
I was going to have you do Another Way to Die. See if you can make a melody out of
that. That's a duet. I need you to help with that one.
Oh gosh, no. I will not be Alicia Keys, thank you.
Ah, shit.
No, that one always made me laugh because like that song was in one of the Guitar Hero games. Right. It's a downloadable thing, and the animation for it had a guy singing the girl's part and a girl singing the guy's part.
How progressive. Why would Roger Moore go to the grave of someone else's wife? There you go. Thanks for clarification. Yes. So apparently, yeah. So there's what's it? James Bond joined the Royal Navy at some point, like in his life, I guess, and then he's killed by the Royal Navy in the end of this.
Yeah. Whoops-a-doodle.
Killed the commander. Right, we're at the end. We're almost at the end. Daniel Craig's tailored clothing by Tom Ford. So yeah, they filmed in London, Spain, Sapari. Can't read. Lots of places, I guess, to say. What's on IMAX cinemas as well? I don't know what IMAX scenes there were. There you go. Norway, Jamaica, England, Scotland, Italy, and the Faroe Islands. Oh, there's France. Just turned up.
Oh, we did not rant. We
quite enjoyed it.
We like the film, but we pointed out a couple of things.
Indeed. Like the line is a freeze frame. I can't work that out. Why? The line doesn't roar. It's just a freeze frame. Oh, see, an awful film, somewhat more watchable. Oh, this film is grim to watch. Well, you're not watching the same film we were.
No, you certainly weren't.
All right, he's off. Good idea. Right. It's getting late. It's a good thing we started this early. Thanks to you.
Yep.
So, yes, you got your Pierce specials coming up then.
Well, kind of, because I'm still doing... my very next one is a Han Solo movie review, but the one after that, I'm going into Dante's Peak.
Oh, I do like Dante's Peak.
Yeah, that's kind of a guilty pleasure film of mine. It was also the first time I'd ever seen Linda Hamilton in anything because I didn't grow up with Terminator.
Yeah, I guess the Terminator 1 and 2. That's it.
No, my mom was pretty strict in what came into our house, so I don't think I saw either of the Terminators until college.
To be fair, I was probably late teens by the time the first one I saw, the second one in the cinema. Yeah, so
no. Dante's Peak is a guilty pleasure of mine for two reasons. One, it stars my favorite Bond, and two, it's about volcanoes. Again,
it is awesome.
Growing up in Washington State, I had a fascination with Mount St. Helens. I know so much useless stuff about that.
Go, Washington State.
So, of course, I was excited about Pierce Brosnan being in a volcano movie.
Yeah, I saw that in the cinema. A lot better than Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, my gosh. That film is stupid cheesy, and there's only so much cheese I can handle in that.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a really naff ending, but you could have the alternate ending with Craig going off into the sunset. Yeah, neither spectacularly work, do they?
Yeah, I don't know which one I would have preferred of the two. My only thing is, like, I don't have a problem with killing Craig's Bond. There's a better way to do it.
Yeah. No, sod her the ground. It's all her fault. She put everyone's life in danger.
She is one of the most unlikable characters.
I hate her. It's like, you fucking jump in there and swim, you bitch.
She's inspired by a real life victim of Mount St. Helens, and I'll probably talk about him in the review. But yeah, the acid scene kind of makes me iffy too. But like, she's terrible. I hate her.
Sod her. Yeah, leave her up there and get melted. Oh, he's got it in widescreen. I'll have to check what I got Dante's Peak in. He saw it twice. I thought he was going to die. Yeah, Bond gets pretty beaten up in that one.
Oh, yeah. He has a bit where Bones shows through the arm. And that one.
I hate that. Yeah, nobody remembers Volcano. No.
Oh, no, I do. It's just I'd rather not.
Yeah, that bit with the guys melting into the thing and he's got enough strength to throw a massive human being across the lava to safety is...
Or the kid just looking at all the disaster victims. Look at them. They're all the same. There's cheesy moments in Dante's Peak too, but man.
Yeah, it's the guy from The Thing's death on the bridge.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't deserve that.
No.
Oh yes, Mrs. Doubtfire.
I do love Mrs. Doubtfire. There's a couple of other good ones.
Yeah.
I love him in The Matador.
I still haven't seen that because that was his taking the piss at Bond a bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, Golden Globe nominated. After the Sunset is also a guilty pleasure.
I
of
do like
mine.
After the Sunset, yes, with that Salma Hayek.
I did watch all of Remington Steele, and I think he's fun in that.
He is.
But I did grow up with Mrs. Doubtfire, and it's him not laughing at Robin Williams.
Yes.
That is so funny to me.
Your accent, it's a bit muddled.
Really?
Like
So
a
you
tan,
can-
dear. Apparently, he had a lot of fun doing that. Desperately trying to keep a straight face. Hello, dear.
Yeah.
Earthquake still stands. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thomas Crown Affair. I don't know if that's my favorite.
Oh yeah,
Bond.
Thomas Crown Affair. That's a good one.
Oh, Cinnamon.
Him and Rene Russo, I think.
Yeah,
is?
they got great chemistry.
Yeah.
And Mamma Mia, of course. Yes, I do love Mamma Mia. No, we've lost.
I don't.
No, I hate this. This
No.
that.
The second one I actually liked. The first one, no.
Because I guess Pierce did Nomads for the Predator director before he did Predator. That's a bit of a weird one.
He also did The Ghost Writer.
Oh yes.
With Ewan McGregor.
Hmm.
I like that one.
Foreigner, is that it with Jackie Chan?
I think so. He also did November Man, which I haven't seen, but
I haven't seen
I
that
want
either.
to.
I've got a video up in the loft, the Grey Owl, where he's a Native American or an adopted Native American. You might enjoy that one. I think it's directed by Richard Attenborough as well,
Oh, okay.
but I don't think it's any good because no
Yeah,
one remembers it.
We did miss Jeff here tonight. That
Yes.
would have been
Oh,
nice.
yes. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, no, I would have liked to have had him here, but oh well.
He decided he'd rather work than watch No Time to Die.
Well, I'd rather watch No Time to Die than some days of work.
Yeah, so move us over there so we can see lovely, lovely ladies. We all would, of course, probably.
Oh, sure. I mean, I've told Gareth in the past that like you got a Bond film that you really don't want to watch by yourself, even if it's Casino Royale 67. You could convince me to do that one, and I think Casino Royale 67 is atrocious.
I don't know. I've seen it all the way through in one sitting.
That's a tough one, but that is a fun one to just laugh with your friends.
Yeah, although we are limited to how many Bond films we can actually watch these days. So yeah.
Yeah.
So must have done a third of them by now. But yeah, right. Let's wrap this up. It's not, although I have tomorrow off, which I'm lucky.
Yeah,
but
no, I don't have tomorrow off. So,
but it's not nearly.
Yeah.
What day is it? Tuesday or soon.
Just for everybody, this is what I was holding around during the film. You know, Walther PPK.
Nice. A real one, I'm sure.
No, it's a prop. No, I tend to use it for sound projects whenever I need a gun sound in a movie somewhere.
Right.
This is what I use.
Nice. All right, wrap this up. You stay right there. There's a little exit thing, and then we'll be back. See you tomorrow for 13th Warrior. With Vikings and monsters. Here we go.